a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate your patience here this morning as there's just, 5 billion things going on at the same time. But that's sports. That's what happens, right? That's what I signed up for. So happy to be here with you. We are a few minutes back here today because I just released an article confirming before Syracuse University came out with the official word, confirming to you that Jerry McNamara is, in fact, the next head coach of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team. I've been talking about this for a while. I've been speaking on Jerry and how this fits for many, many months, and I can confirm per my sources that Jerry McNamara indeed returning to Syracuse to officially take over. It's been a process of these last few days of waiting for official word, but what I have written to you, and you can see on wakeupcalldt.com, are these words. Jerry McNamara will become the next head coach of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball program, according to my sources. He returns to the Orange after spending 2 seasons as the head coach of the Siena Saints men's basketball program inside the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAAC. The year prior to him taking over at Siena, the Saints were 4-28. In his first season with the Saints, the team improved to 14-18, and this past season they rose to 23-12, including winning the MAC tournament, which gave them an automatic bid to the 2026 NCAA tournament. In the NCAA tournament, they were pitted against the top overall seed, the Duke Blue Devils, and pushed Duke throughout the game, losing by a mere 2 possessions in the 16 seed versus 1 seed matchup. Blue Devils head coach John Shire said repeatedly that McNamara outcoached him in that game. Returning to Syracuse, where he was a player and an assistant coach, McNamara will become just the school's 3rd head coach in men's basketball in the last 51 years, with Jim Boeheim having been at the helm for 47 years and Adrian Autry for 3. Syracuse University was in talks with Brian Hodgson from the University of South Florida, as well as Josh Schertz of St. Louis University, prior to naming McNamara as their new leader. So with that being said, it is Jerry's world, and he is back. And as I put in an article yesterday, the future in Orange should be spelled in 4 letters, GMAC, and that is exactly what is now happening. We're up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both / WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much for being here with us, and we have a jam-packed show today. We're going to start things off inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn's What's Poppin' with having Damon Barnes on the broadcast. I met Damon at the Syracuse Pro Day. He comes to us from the Cornell Big Red and the defensive back, who I was watching the 40s, and I'm just, taping everybody here and watching them go. And I see this guy, and I go, I don't know that face right now, but I'm about to get to know that face. So I was like, man, that guy's fat. Him and, obviously Trayvon Saunders as well from Colgate came in and were a part of Syracuse Pro Day. And, both to me, I wanted to cross paths with, and I'm happy that Damon and I got to do that. Damon's going to be joining the show ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft from the Cornell Big Red in just a moment. And then at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we will be joined by Flynn Wilson of the Binghamton University Bearcats men's lacrosse team. He comes to us today for an all-new Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, fresh off of him being named Face-Off Specialist of the Week by the America East Conference. And then Austin Collins will join me, Syracuse Orange offensive lineman, who was also at Pro Day just a little bit ago. A week ago yesterday was Pro Day, and so he'll be joining me ahead of the NFL Draft from Syracuse University, and we'll round out the show as we always do on a Tuesday with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's. Today's topic is positivity as an active ingredient. So with that being said, without further ado, I am picture in picture with Damon Barnes here on the broadcast, Cornell Big Red alum and 2026 NFL Draft prospect, DB, coming off a pro day. Damon, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure and my honor to have you here. You and I, like I said, we had the opportunity of crossing paths at Syracuse Pro Day, and I wanted to make sure I introduced myself to you, and wanted to get you here on the show and give you a spotlight and a showcase to the work that you have done and what you're looking forward to doing in the NFL. So I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk with you.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm always down to talk, always willing to connect.
So bring me into Syracuse Pro Day, just how you got the invite, how it all worked out that you were able to come out to Syracuse for Pro Day.
Yeah, so I was, just trying to give myself the most opportunities to, showcase my talents and how hard I've been working over the past couple of months. And I went to first I went to the Ivy League Pro Day, which was at Columbia University. And before that, I was trying to just, see what my options were in the Northeast. And, me and my agent, we kind of got together and worked some things out where I can get to, Syracuse, because I previously known some players that have went there for a pro day. So they gave me pretty much I was pretty much just weighing my options and just reaching out to different sources to see where I can get in. And eventually, Syracuse hit me back and told me I would be able to do it. So I was definitely excited. And I saw Coach Fran Brown, and I made sure I thanked him for the opportunity to, showcase my talents there. So it was a great experience for sure.
Yeah, and you said you got to do the Ivy League Pro Day before
Mm.
that. Bring me into that and that experience, like, because people don't know what schools have what. So is it more when it comes to being in an Ivy League
No,
school?
what
Is
what
it
schools
less
have.
having a Cornell Pro Day and more of the Ivy League just trying to get everybody together and showcase the league as a whole?
Right. And that pro day, it wasn't as many guys that were there. A couple guys from a different couple different schools. But I think, yeah, like you said, I think it was just because some schools in the Ivy League don't really put on a pro day for guys.
Yeah.
It was more just, giving people an opportunity if your school didn't particularly have one. So, I was definitely grateful to for them to have that and just for them to have scouts there in general and just for guys to showcase what they've been working for. So I'm definitely grateful for that opportunity.
For you, was there something from that pro day, from the Ivy League Pro Day, that you took away as far as maybe a conversation you had,
Yeah.
or something that happened that day that you just felt like really helped you with your draft stock and your opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. I think just the overall experience, that being my first pro day, I think, and knowing that I would be able to, line it up again and showcase more in front of different people. I
Yeah.
think just that being my first pro day and that being, kind of a baseline to see where I'm at, kind of get the jitters out a little bit. I think just the whole experience, just from waking up, from what I eat before, going through the whole process of warming up, stretching, doing what I've done for the past 2 months in training and stuff like that. Just the whole process has been a learning experience. Just, you know, not trying to think too much because I tend to be kind of a thinker. Coming coming from Cornell is not saying a lot, but just going, just
Yeah.
getting down and going. I talked to, my agent and, my trainer down in Florida. That's pretty much what they just told me. You just got to get there and go. It's not much thinking to be done, and that's exactly what I tried to do, and just, show how my body can move and show how hard I've been working. So definitely taking from the whole experience and just conversations with scouts, with other players, hearing their experiences. That just kind of gave me some insight of what I'm able to do. So just hearing that I moved well, just hearing that I really turned some heads and caught some attention was definitely gave me the confidence.
And when you were at that Ivy League Pro Day, speaking with like the scouts and whatnot, is there anything, any team or teams, did you get to build a relationship with, a certain NFL franchise? I mean, what can
Mhm.
you say to that effect? When you said there wasn't as many guys at Ivy League Pro Day, was it more one on
Right.
one opportunities? And did you have any opportunity with specific teams?
Yeah. So at the Ivy League Pro Day, it was couple scouts from the New York Giants,
Yeah.
and I got to have some good conversation and introducing myself and you know talking to them and telling them that I will be at the Syracuse Pro Day, and they just giving me some advice and just of what I can improve on since I do have another opportunity, and definitely and it was also a CFL scout there. Um, from the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and just talking to them, introducing, making conversation, definitely gave me some insight of what I need to do better and what I can do better when I'm given the opportunity to. So, and I definitely feel like I was able to capitalize on those conversations. And perform and improve on my performance at the Ivy League Pro Day.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you got to talk with the Giants. You're a New York City guy. What
Yeah.
what was what do you remember from that conversation with the New York Giants and just what that meant to you?
Yeah, it definitely meant a lot because coming from New York City, is you always you've seen it around growing up. You just seen Giants, 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 and especially I moved to New York City from Maryland during the time, the Eli Manning time when they were winning when they won the Super Bowl, and so that conversation definitely meant a lot. And they were just, giving me advice, just trying to see what I can really do. And they were definitely uh they commented, about my physique and, seeing how hard I worked, and, I'm glad, I was able to transform my body and, put on a show for them. Seeing where I came from and seeing my body now is definitely giving them some I'm definitely glad I was able to turn heads, especially seeing my physique and then seeing how my body was able to move and how fast I could move and how quick I could change direction. So it was definitely a very intuitive conversation, and I was grateful and glad I got the opportunity to speak with them.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, doing what you did for yourself with your physique and then with your speed and just showing like, hey, I'm gonna put on this muscle, but I'm gonna be able to move this way.
Right.
What have you done as far as your regiment? Who have you trained with? Bring me into what you did to turn heads and
Yeah,
all the work that you put in.
definitely. I was down in Tampa, Florida, training with Yo Murph Performance, and that was definitely just being down in that environment. It was honestly, I was speechless when I got down there, because not only was it my first time in Florida, but it was my first time being in such a facility with, guys that are also not only working like me to get to the same goal, but guys, high caliber guys, NFL veterans, just coming in and out, just saying on a daily basis, just saying what's up, getting, bits and pieces of gems from them.
Yeah.
But just honestly, just waking up every day, I was telling somebody the other day that one of my favorite part was pretty much just waking up and getting to do it again. Waking up, putting my head down, being the same guy every day, approaching every day as a professional, because essentially that's what I want to be. So you got to approach it that way, and just going there, taking full advantage of, the coaching, taking full advantage of the facilities, of the recovery, everything I need to do to get my body prepared for the next day and just to get that 1% better every day. Just eating the right things, coming every day, eating, getting your supplements, getting your meals, getting whatever you need that they provide. And and that was honestly probably one of the biggest parts was my nutrition. Uh, you know, Cutting out the stuff that I want to eat, for substituting that for what I need to be eating.
Yeah.
you know, I'm really big on that. I'm really big on what I put in my body. So I was constantly in contact with, the dietitian and, asking her, is this okay to eat? Is this okay to eat? What should I cut out? And, we had those conversations, and I feel like that really brought me to where I am today, dropping almost 4 or 5% body fat. Um, it definitely gave me that, that physique, and gave me the ability to, still stay nimble, still stay lean, and, still be able to change direction wherever I wanted to. So all of that kind of, put that in perspective for me about what it really means to be a professional.
Well, and how did you balance that? I mean, like you said, when you're dropping body fat, you're putting on muscle. How do you put on muscle and then stay fast? How do you keep like how did you not lose something good to gain something good, so to speak?
Right. I think it was just the volume of the and the intensity of the workouts. Um, just honestly, it honestly didn't really feel like I was losing anything, or well, I guess you see it when you look in the mirror, obviously, but it didn't really feel like it was such a drastic change. I think when you get in that flow of eating right, when you get in that flow of working as hard as you can every day, it kind of just comes. It kind of just, you see your body reaping the benefits of it. And honestly, it's just, trying to stay explosive, trying to stay, doing the extra, doing the mobility, being able to, lean, being able to plant in and out. It's just constant work, honestly. You really never have a day off. It's either you're doing yoga, trying to stay flexible, not only for, staying healthy, but also for just nimbleness and everything like that. But it's also coming in every day, being explosive, being intentional with your workouts. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's pretty much how I attacked it, and treated every day like a professional. Like I have to do something. It's either I'm, getting in contrast, getting in the hot tub, cold tub, stretching, yoga, being as flexible as I can, while also maintaining that balance where it's like, okay, there are days where you do need to chill because your body, the volume of the week, kind of you need that day to just sit back, relax, and recover. So
Yeah.
that's really how I maintain that.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about yoga, and I had never done it. And then I tried to do it. I tried to do a little bit, and it was all right, but then I did the nighttime yoga, and my neck, like just what I did for that, man, it was like 12 minutes, and it helped out. So I was laying on the floor, and I'm like, man, this is the best that my neck has felt in years. And then I stopped doing it, and now I'm sitting here going like, man, my neck's tight again. So it is something that, you know what I mean. It's not like, I think what people forget is they're like, I want to get to this certain place with my body. I want to do this certain thing with myself. So I'm just gonna ramp up and do this thing for like a few weeks, few months, and then I'm gonna get to where I want to be. And then I'm like, cool, I'm here now. And then I'm just gonna stop. And it's like, no, you got to maintain. And
Right.
so, what's your regiment like? Continuously, because you wanted to get ready for pro day, you wanted to get ready for these NFL scouts, but it's not like after you see them, you can just now go do something totally different.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's pretty much nothing really changes. Nothing really stops. Still doing, stretch every night, obviously hydrate, eating the right things. Nothing really stops because you never know what's gonna happen. You never know who's gonna come calling, for a workout or whatever.
Yeah.
So nothing really changes from training. Obviously, the intensity, you don't want to beat your body down before these workouts or before pro day or anything. But other than that, like other than the workout intensity and the volume, nothing really changes. You still have to do your yoga, still have to stretch every night, hydrate, eat right. Um, so yeah, like I said, nothing really changes. And yeah, nothing. It's just simple, as simple as that. Nothing can change if you want to, stay at your best. like you said, doing the yoga, and then all of a sudden you stop
Yeah.
and you get stiff. So
Yep.
it's kind of it's very much the same thing. Like when you stop doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, your body doesn't really react well because you've been doing it for so long. Now it's routine. So now your body is reacting different, and you feel awkward and you feel stiff. So yeah, everything is really just a constant routine.
Yeah. And I mean, is that something that you were always into, always a fan of? I say this like I played basketball growing up and I would shoot for hours and run around and not even think about how much I'm running or what I'm doing. But if you said go run on a track, I was like, no. So, when it came to basketball, it was almost like tricking the mind by giving me something that I love and putting the
Mhm.
basketball in my hand and saying, okay, go do your thing with it. Like, go, you'll get your cardio in by doing this. So, have you had to kind of trick your body into, I don't want to do this, but I love football? Or were you always somebody that was like, no, I don't mind running, I don't mind lifting? Was that always a part of you?
Yeah, I think just my love for the game really propelled me to being that person that was, always down for doing the extra, always down for a lift, always down for conditioning, always down for an extra, catching session or whatever it may be. Whether it's, with my position group or whether it's with, receivers or anything extra, anything, that I know will get me better. I was always down to do. And you guys, my high school coaches, college coaches, anybody who knows me well is he's always up and doing something. Is I got into yoga kind of in high school and prep school where a coach kind of introduced to me, that yoga is really a big thing. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be intense all the time,
Yeah.
but just doing something and getting your body moving will really help you feel good that next day. So from that point on, I was like, okay, that's all you got to tell me. So I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah. Mate, see, now we're talking about it this morning. Now I'm like, I got to do it today. So,
Yeah,
but,
man.
but you talked about you get in touch with your nutritionist and you're like, can I have this? Can I not have this? So what's the like day to day for you? Does it change? Is it because I mean you want to enjoy the food you eat, but
Right.
you're also intentional about what you eat. So bring me into like a given week, like Monday through Friday this week. What is Damon Barnes eating?
Okay. So I would say it stays relatively the same. Um, but usually for breakfast, I have like, you know, either I alternate between some scrambled eggs and some fruit, or like some hard boiled eggs and some fruit, and like a smoothie. And then for lunch, I would kind of have the normal, grilled chicken, rice, and vegetables, and then for dinner it's kind of the same. I would either have, either like steak, potatoes and vegetables, and then now, so I'm kind of cooking on my own now. So
Yeah.
um I've always been kind of excited to cook, just helping my mom when she used to cook. And now I'm kind of getting into it on my own. So I really enjoy it, honestly. Is I know it's something that I have to do. So and even if I do, want to get something or don't feel like cooking, or um, you know, I still do a good job watching. It's relatively go somewhere where it's, grilled chicken, rice, veggies, and that's pretty much where I'm at with it. It's kind of it's not like monotonous, but
Yeah.
it definitely, like you said, you definitely have to enjoy what you eat. So I definitely try to switch it up a little bit, give myself some variety. But I enjoy it, honestly.
It's just making me think of that skit on Saturday Night Live where Chadwick Boseman continued to play T'Challa from Black Panther, and he was talking about seasoning your food. So as long as you season the food the right way, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, you talk about eggs, you talk about fruit. I'm like, all right, I do that. I eat chicken. I don't have a lot of red meat, so I was like, okay, I'm hearing some things, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right for myself. So Damon Barnes here with us. You come from the New York City area. We know that there are
Absolutely.
5 boroughs. I want you to rank them. Don't get yourself in
Ooh.
trouble, but Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island. I got a feeling on which one's going to be last because for some reason I feel like it gets dogged all the time, but rank the 5 boroughs.
Okay. I would say, okay. I'd say number one, I have to say the Bronx because I'm from the Bronx.
Okay.
Um, I would say number two, Manhattan. Um, three, I say Brooklyn. Four, Queens, and five is Staten Island. Because I think Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island, I rarely
Yeah.
I rarely go there. But I definitely have been to Brooklyn more times than Queens, and I'm not sure if I've ever been to Staten Island. So no disrespect to anybody from Staten Island, but yeah, that's my list.
It ended the way I thought it. What did Staten Island do to anybody? Is my question.
I know I always see, people say, Staten Island doesn't even count as a borough, and I'm like, oh man, I'm out of this conversation.
Yeah.
I've never really been, so I can't judge Staten Island on what on if they're a borough or not. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much my list was kind of in ascending order or descending order from, places I've been.
Okay.
So,
That's fair. Now, when I'm looking at this, and I'm taking, I'm trying to see here who, because I know there's superheroes that come from certain place. So now I'm seeing what like it's been used in places, but I know Queens is Spider Man,
oh, is
and
it?
yeah,
Okay.
Queens is Spider Man. But I'm trying to remember who was from the Bronx as a superhero, and I don't know why it's like. Let me see here. I'm looking at Marvel heroes from the Bronx to try and catch this because I'm like, am I losing my mind here? So it says, why isn't there one superhero from the Bronx? So let's see here. Oh, the Prowler was. So the Prowler, who's in the Spider-Man universe. Okay. So let's see. So this is what it says. The Marvel universe is almost exclusively based in New York City. And so, being a Bronx native, I got to wondering how many Marvel characters are from the Bronx. So, in no particular order, the Prowler, and then Hydro Man, who's a villain of Spider Man, and then Taskmaster, who's been in movies already, Nighthawk, and then, let's see here, Deathstalker, some Spider Man character, Vin Gonzalez. Okay. So then yeah, so there's a few. There's like Prowler, Hydra Man, Taskmaster. I know of them. So if you were to take on the role of a superhero and you were going to protect the Bronx,
Mhm.
since there's not a lot of them from what I'm looking at here, what superhero would you be protecting the Bronx?
Ah, um, you talking about any superhero, right?
Anybody, yeah.
Um, it would definitely be a tough task, but I would say I don't know. I think Batman just fits the aura of,
Okay.
New York City and, and just the Bronx and just and the Joker stairs are in the Bronx. Like they use a certain staircase from
Yeah.
in the Bronx to shoot a scene in in I think the joke one of the Joker movies or the Batman movies. And I've been there, I ran those stairs and working out and stuff like that. But I think I'd say Batman just for the aura purposes.
Well, and and the thing is, it's funny because Gotham City was supposed to be a worse version of New York City, and now I think
Yeah.
Gotham City is a nicer version of New York City. But but when you said the Joker stairs,
Yeah.
Was that from the movie with Joaquin Phoenix, The Joker, the one where he's dancing up and down those like really tall stairs?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and you've run
yes.
those.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
And
What's
they're
it
no joke.
what's it been like to run the stairs that Joker once danced down?
They are, I'll tell you right now, they are no joke. I ran them probably sometime when I was in high school. So obviously my body changed and stuff like that. But when I was running it, it was no joke. It was, and we did it, I don't even know how many times. So by the end, your legs were dead. And I'm grateful that I got to be a part of, cinema history.
So, where are the stairs located in the Bronx?
I want to say near High Bridge.
Okay.
Um, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's near there.
Would you go to them now, having run the stairs? Would you now go and do your best dance moves down the stairs like the Joker?
Yeah, I'll do a little 1-2 down the steps, just to, I'll watch the scene first. I'll try to emulate it, but yeah, I'll do a little 1-2 down the steps.
Yeah, when he's going down those stairs and he's kind of dancing and taking his time going down and then going back up a little bit, I was like, it's gonna take this man 3 hours to get down these stairs. So, have you seen and or done the Rocky steps or no?
Ooh, well, I haven't ran the Rocky Steps, but I have been to the museum.
Okay.
So I've walked up the steps, but I haven't done the little, run up the stairs and the music playing and all that stuff. But I've walked up them and been to the museum, so I'm very familiar with them.
Well, I can tell you that I ran the Rocky steps a few years ago, and I think it was it's got to be within the last 3 years. So if it's not two, but I think it was three. So I ran the Rocky steps, tried to film it, didn't like the filming, ran back down the steps after giving my camera to my buddy, and then ran back up right after I had run up the first time. And I said, "You need to film this because it needs to be better." And he goes, "Do I have to go with you and run?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Oh, thank God." I said, "No, you can just stand up here." So I actually ran when I encountered the Rocky Steps for the first time. That we stopped because I don't think we stopped the first time. I ran them, ran down them, and then ran right back up. So I could say that I've done it twice, and then that the middle of running down, and doing it all over again. So I can appreciate that. But no, the ones that you have in the Bronx, those like from watching them in the movie, they look like they go straight up.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely looks as intimidating as they do on the screen. So,
So Damon Barnes here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Damon from the Cornell Big Red and 2026 NFL Draft prospect at the DB position. We talked about Ivy League Pro Day having some time to get around the New York Giants franchise. And now you go on recently here about a week ago to Syracuse's Pro Day held inside of the Ensley Center on the campus of Syracuse University, where almost every single NFL team was on site. Bring me into your experience there and your takeaways from Syracuse Pro Day.
yeah, it was definitely, I love the energy from the walk-in. When I got there and I started warming up, it was the staff and everybody was just had a certain energy about them that I was like, it's time to go. And I really appreciated that because, that's kind of what you need as an athlete trying to compete. You need some type of energy, you need some type of hostility, whether it's internal or external, you kind of need that, and that kind of helps me to perform better. Um, knowing there's people watching when it's that certain energy, and it definitely helps me to perform better. But the overall experience, I loved it. It was Syracuse was an amazing time. I got to, have some great conversations with, the guys there, the other Syracuse players, knowing them, getting to know them. It was amazing. And also seeing Trayvon, knowing that I played against him, it was great to see him go out there and do his thing as well. So yeah, it was overall a great experience. I feel like I I handled business and did what I had to do. Tried to, turn as many heads as possible. So, and glad I got to run into you as well. Glad we crossed paths. So it was overall a great experience. I feel like I had a solid day. Um, so yeah, I loved every second of it.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that we got to do that as well. My buddy that was there, I shot him a message. I was like, "Hey, I got to connect with Damon Barnes because that was something I was intending to do, and I'm
Mhm.
happy that we got to do it in person." You said you went up against Trayvon Saunders of Colgate, so you knew what it was like to, be against him. How would you
Mhm.
describe? He's going to be on the show in a few days, so he'll
Mhm.
he'll do the other side of this. But you being a DB, him being a wide receiver, how would you describe what it's like to see him in the open field? And then secondly, did you guys purposefully end up doing drills one after the other because you guys were together on some of that stuff like the 40?
No, no, we didn't do that on purpose. That was kind of just the order, of the guys that weren't, the guys that didn't go to Syracuse and stuff like that. But it was every time we faced him, obviously he was a main focus, a main target. So he definitely great playmaker. They definitely kind of they got the best of us at some points, but. Yeah, like I said, he's one of the best playmakers that we've seen. So I was grateful to get to share the field with him, and because he only made us better and made me better. Because we've had our fair share of run-ins. We obviously I think neither of us are as big talkers. We don't really say much. We just handle business on the field, and I think that's what it was. It was just a mutual handling of business on the field. So it was great to see him there, great to see him perform. Um, so yeah, it was seeing him in the open field is definitely a challenge because he's very shifty guy, very quick, fast guy. So every time we saw him, he was definitely a point of focus for sure.
What do you think he would say about you?
I think he would say, that he's just in it, that I'm in on every play, flying around the field, doing everything necessary to get the ball on the ground. Um, Playmaker, I would say that, it's just a constant thing all game. It really doesn't stop. The motor doesn't stop. And I'm just flying around, seeing what else I can get into, what plays I can make. And um, I think that kind of causes um, turn some heads on the offensive side of the ball, see where I'm at all times.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, kind of going off of that to the NFL, you got to be around a bunch of scouts
Mhm.
at, these pro days and whatnot. You got to be at Columbia's pro day as well. So, what did you take away from that? I mean, having three separate pro days and opportunities to showcase your talents to the NFL. What was Columbia's pro day like, and what did you take away from it?
Yeah, I think Columbia's Pro Day was a great opportunity to, showcase what I've been working hard for. And just being around all of the pro days is just trying to give myself the best opportunity to, you know, show what I can do. Doesn't matter if it's one scout, doesn't matter if it's all 32. Regardless, you have to perform in the way that you can. And I feel like that, going to all of these pro days in the Columbia Pro Day, that's exactly what I did. I approached every pro day every pro day the same, just going in there, not really tuning out everything on the outside, just focusing on what I have to do, no matter who's watching, no matter who is going in front of me, no matter who's going behind me. It's just singularly focused on what I have to do.
Yeah, and what did you feel like you showed the NFL scouts? What do you want to say to them? What do you feel like you've
Yeah.
shown them? Bring me into if a GM's sitting in front of you right now, what's the pitch for Damon Barnes?
I feel like just coming from where I come from, it's nothing was ever given. Nothing was ever given to me, and I think I show that in my play. I show that in the way I approach life and in the way I approach practice and the way I approach everything. That nothing was ever given to me and nothing will ever be given to me. So I gotta go out there and earn it. And that's what I've done these past couple years and just all my life, just being in an environment where, things are not really given to you. Things are not really, things are kind of in a cycle
Yeah.
where you like myself, I just, I got to get out. I got to get out of this cycle. I have to succeed, and that I think that's my mindset. Um, Nothing was ever given to me, and that's why I'm blessed to have such a support system like my family and the coaches I've encountered because going to one of the best schools in the nation academically, you know they really check boxes as far as character, as far as academics, as far as applying yourself. And I feel like I brought that and more to Cornell, and I will continue to have that approach elsewhere. I pride myself on, humility. I pride myself on respect. I pride myself on being the hardest worker and showing being the same person every day. So I pride myself on being the hardest worker in the room, and I will be the hardest worker in the room, no matter what, because I know that those opportunities, you only get a few of them, and every time you step on the field or step into a meeting or step into somewhere where you have to, present yourself in a certain way, you only get only a few of those. So I really pride myself on taking advantage of those opportunities and knowing that it's not luck, knowing that nothing that I've ever done was luck, that it was based solely on hard work, and that's really what I pride myself on.
Well, when that's probably arguably the best answer I've ever gotten to send something to an NFL scout. So I can appreciate that, respect that, the knowledge, the wisdom, nothing's ever been given to you, and that hard work is what it takes, not luck. So with that being said from Damon Barnes, Damon, let's play some rapid fire. We can talk about any subject, any topic, literally anything in the world. You get to do something you never get to do as a player, which is ask questions. So don't waste the moment at all. You get to ask the first question, and then I will ask the next one, and we'll go back and forth for a few. What's your question for me?
Okay, okay, let's see. Um, what uh what is your let's go. What's your favorite NFL team?
Hmm. The Jacksonville Jaguars. So,
Ooh.
yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars from the beginning, from when they came out in '95. I was 9 years old, so I've been a fan the whole time. I don't know why they let Travis Etienne Jr. go, but it's all right. They got Basil Tootin and LaQuinn Allen Jr. They just brought in Chris Rodriguez Jr., so we'll see what it looks like. My question back to you, who is your favorite NFL team and why? Oh, wait. Who is your favorite NFL team? And then secondly, are they really truly New York teams, the Jets and the Giants, if they play in East Rutherford, New Jersey?
Okay. All right. So, okay, first question. Growing up, I was a I was a Green Bay Packers fan.
Okay.
I know it sounds weird, but my purpose was because in Little League I played linebacker and I was obsessed with Clay Matthews.
Okay.
So I was a fan during during that time coming up, and I still keep up with them and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, that's my favorite team. And second question. I think they are. I think they're still, considered New York teams because, I feel like the city the city embraces them like they are. No matter, if they're in New Jersey, people still go out to see them and the city, like the media and the city, the aura of New York City
Yeah.
embraces them. So I think they can be considered New York teams.
Yeah, I think the Jets definitely feel the anger of the fans a lot. So, what's your next question
Oh
for me?
man. Next question. Um, who do you have winning March Madness?
Houston, no matter what.
Houston. Okay.
Houston, no matter what. My question back to you. Hmm. Okay. With the education that you got from Cornell University,
Mm.
how would you describe, with everybody talking about Ivy League schools and, from the outside looking in, what would you say from the inside looking out you've learned from the Ivy League education?
Mm. That's a great question. Um, Honestly, I would say from the inside looking out, um, I would say that, no matter no matter what your major is, or no matter, how difficult your major is, it all comes down to, using your resources, honestly, and
Okay.
really taking advantage of um, the alumni network. I would say, as far as education, obviously, for me, education really never changed. It all came from applying yourself, and it all came from, handling business when it needed to be handled, not waiting to the last minute to complete assignments, and, when I do need help, seeking the extra help, seeking whatever it has to be to get those assignments done, to get the studying done. But as far as the school as a whole, and the Ivy League as a whole, it's it's a lot of people that are out there that are willing to help, and, looking not just on campus but off campus as well. There are alumni all over. I can't tell you the amount of times I've ran into somebody from Cornell since I graduated from there, and it just opens my eyes every time, because, you know you don't you don't think you're gonna run into somebody that from Cornell
Yeah.
until you're either wearing a sweatshirt or wearing a hat, or you see them wearing a hat and be like, oh, I went to Cornell too. And then, there you go. You guys have something in common. You have something you guys can talk about. But taking full advantage of, people that care, taking full advantage of, meeting new people. And I think that's something I also learned, being at Cornell is, I'm kind of a reserved guy,
Yeah.
usually. But, one thing I kind of developed in my maturity, going to Cornell, was meeting new people, because you never know who knows who. And just for the sake of meeting people, just going up to somebody, introducing yourself, making conversation, it shows them that you care about what they're saying, and and for them, you coming up to them, it shows them, oh, this guy is really a personable person. So so just being not afraid to go up to people, and um, take advantage of your opportunities when you see them. So yeah,
I love that. Network is important. Very
absolutely,
important. What's your final
absolutely.
question for me, Damon?
Final question. Okay, let's see if I can make it a good one. Um, okay, let's see. Who, okay, who would you, to have, if you had to have dinner with somebody
Okay.
that you haven't already, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh. So many answers come to mind. Jesus Christ is first.
Hmm.
I just want to sit with him. I I don't think I could leave the table. I don't think I'd say a word. I think I would say thank you for having dinner with me. I love you, and then I'd just listen.
Right.
I would just listen and just try to take everything that I possibly could and appreciate the moment. What do you need from me? How can I help you? How can I be of service to you? Am I going in the right direction? Am I not? A prayer that I pray almost daily is guide me toward you, guard me from all that is not. So guide me and guard me And then I always say, your will over my want, which to some people may not want to say that prayer, but that's me saying to God, if I'm chasing something that, and it is not in your direction, even if it's good for me, even if I'm going to like it, I'm going to enjoy it. Like what I want, if that's not what you want from me, then don't let me have it.
Right.
And so, yeah, I would talk to God for sure.
That's a great answer.
And
Love
then,
that answer.
the outside of that, most important, I would sit with Michael Jackson.
Mm, okay.
I would sit with Michael, and I just feel like he was wildly misunderstood. I don't I don't see him as a villain, and I would just want to sit with Michael and talk with him, and I've done impersonations my whole life, so I'd be like, all right, Michael, can we do Michael talking to Michael, and then I'll do my Michael Jackson impression, but that soft voice. But nah, I mean, I just would like to sit with him and be like, do you know that I credit you with teaching me how to dance when I was 10 years old in my grandma's family room. I would just watch his videos and I'd be like, I need to be able to spin as many times as I can, keeping my balance and stopping myself without falling over. And I would just practice, practice, practice. So yeah, I would definitely want to sit with Michael for sure.
Nice. That's yeah, that's I definitely have my my Michael Jackson stint as well. We had the game on the Wii, the Michael Jackson experience. We
Yeah. So you did the spin too.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. We had our fair share, sweating bullets trying to keep up.
Yeah.
So it was definitely had our my Michael Jackson run in as well.
So I want to go off of that for my last question. If you could have dinner with any three living
Hmm.
people right now, who would you sit with and why?
I would say um living. I would say Usain Bolt.
Okay.
Um I would say hmm, I would say LeBron James,
Okay.
and I would say hmm, last but not least, I would say let's go let's go Nick Saban.
Okay. Why those three?
I feel like Usain Bolt, I've watched countless times. I've, watched his documentary countless times. I feel like just him as an athlete, I feel like he kind of personified what it meant to, work hard knowing the end goal is not certain. And I feel like that's what track is
Yeah.
because you never know, well, with any sport really, but I think and he gave me one of a great quote um that you're kind of training your whole life for 9 seconds. And
Yeah.
that what that put in perspective for me is, you're putting your all, you're busting your butt training, your whole life to get to a goal, to achieve something that's legendary. And that really says something about you as a person, you know, that you're willing to work hard for something that you enjoy doing. You're willing to work hard for, even though the goal is not in sight, the goal is not certain, well, the result is not certain, you're still willing to give your all and give your 100% no matter what, no matter how many people are in the crowd, no matter if you're running the race by yourself or it's 20 other people running the race, that you're willing to give your all in preparation for that one moment. Uh, so Usain Bolt, I said LeBron James, I would say just just LeBron. Being LeBron, I feel like he has so much insight as far as not only, being an athlete, being one of the greatest athletes of all time, but also, from a business perspective, and just seeing the way he approaches his daily life. I feel like he has a lot of wisdom to give over 20 years in professional sports.
Yeah.
So, uh, and then Nick Saban. I say Nick Saban because, obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the uh, I would just probably want to just pick his brain about, just football, just talking about football, seeing the way he coaches, seeing, the greatest, some of the greatest athletes have come from being coached by Nick Saban. So
Yeah.
I feel like he would have a lot of insight as well.
That coming from Damon Barnes. Heck of a room to sit down with. Damon Barnes, Cornell Big Red alum, 2026 NFL Draft prospect defensive back. Damon, we'll have you on as we get set for the draft once again, but I appreciate you coming on here this morning, spending some time with me, telling your story, and I'm just grateful that you gave me the opportunity to talk with you at Pro Day just about a week ago.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man, my pleasure, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon. Good to know that somebody else was sweating trying to do Michael Jackson moves in this world.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Talk soon, man. God bless.
All right, talk soon.
Take care.
Bye bye.
That come from Damon Barnes once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We're now jumping right into my conversation with the one and only Flynn Wilson, who joins me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Flynn here with us, getting set and ready to go. We appreciate his patience here this morning as we were finishing up our conversation with Damon Barnes of the Cornell Big Red and a 2026 NFL Draft prospect. So we appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York for sales and service. Make sure you get out there to see them today. With me, picture in picture, is the one and only Flynn Wilson. I feel like his name somehow warrants that he would be a superhero or in some like Top Gun movie, maybe Top Gun 3 or something like that. Mr. Wilson here with us, Binghamton men's lacrosse student athlete, speaking during the 2026 season in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton. Flynn, how are we doing?
Good, man. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing well. I want to give you a congratulations first and foremost on the fact that I get to speak with you on the heels of you being named the face-off specialist of the week by the entire America East Conference. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, of course. So Flynn, bring me into it. Why lacrosse? How did it happen? Go back to your childhood and paint us the picture of why this sport was the one that you chose.
So I was playing football I played football all the way up until high school, but I started playing when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I'm from South Carolina, so football's, the sport, it's the biggest thing down there. So playing football, was looking for something to do in the springtime. And my buddy was like, hey, why don't you play lacrosse with me? So I was like, yeah, sure. So we both went to Dick's. We got the like these little Under Armour sticks that you get the all put together for you and all that. And I went out. I was 9 years old. Had a blast with it, and just kind of went up with it. I made a travel team when I was 11 years old, and then we started traveling to like local tournaments all around South Carolina, Greenville, Columbia. We had a local one around the Charleston area, and yeah, and then I kept moving up. Had my hardships for sure. I mean, I got cut from a couple teams, um, and I think all those experiences kind of led to where I am today. To be honest with you, without there's no winning without losing, and that includes getting cut from teams. So, um, yeah, so I just came up in the ranks. I did pretty well in high school, and then ended up getting recruited here. So got lucky.
You tell me that story, you share that story of being cut, and now you're a Division I student athlete. Adversity builds us, and we have no idea who we are or what's underneath the surface without adversity. How did adversity helped to show you who you are and what you're capable of?
I'd say like, excuse me. You don't really learn who you are as an athlete until you experience adversity. You don't like when everything's all sunshine and rainbows. Like you're just kind of going through it and you're enjoying it. You got to understand. Like you don't know if you love a game until you experience a hardship in it. So I'd say that kind of shaped it. I learned that I really love lacrosse when I still wanted to do it, even when things didn't go my way. And it also teaches you a lot of valuable lessons, not only in lacrosse, but I'd say in life too. Um, you're not going to get every job that you want to get. You're not going to score every interview. So, being able to take the punches and keep going is something that's really important to me. And I think that's kind of built me up a good bit. And like I said before, I mean, there's no way I'd be anywhere close to where I am today without it.
Well, I'm a firm believer in a statement that it came to my mind, and I say this was all God speaking through me.
Right.
I said something to Johnson College in Scranton, PA at an entrepreneurship and business class when I got asked to speak there. I said, you will realize very quickly the stark difference between I love it and I think I love it. Because if you love it, you'll get knocked down, you get punched in the mouth, you get right back up. If you think you love it, you'll go, yeah, I don't really need this if it gets difficult. When did you know through all the adversity that you truly loved lacrosse and you didn't just think that you loved it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's say, honestly, I would probably take it all the way back to I would try out for this team called Team 91 South, and it was like the thing. I mean, they pulled guys from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. They even went a little bit. They could probably even go a little bit west, like Texas, and that's South area. And I tried out for that team. I'd say twice, and I got cut twice, both times.
Yeah.
And I would always play well, but then whenever tryout day came, and I would always get so pumped up for it, I just wouldn't perform, and not performing, I would go against this kid that would always just, beat me really bad every time we tried out for the team because he was on the team every year. So I remember talking to him one day, and he was like, "Yeah, I get 200 face-off reps a day." So I was like, "Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do."
Yeah.
And so I did it. And let's see, this was probably going into my sophomore year of high school. So I did that. And then sophomore year, I just kind of shot up. I performed a lot better. And like I said, it all added up because of the work that I was putting in. I was getting 200 reps a day, performing better. And I got an invite back to try out for the team, and I made it. Which is actually a funny story. I'll get to that later. But I learned that I loved it when I was like fully down to do 200 reps a day face off because it's such like a niche position, especially in lacrosse. So it's for me to be like, okay, I'm going to do this every day. That kind of I kind of proved to myself that I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
You said that there was a funny story that you would get to later. I want to hear it.
So I went to the Team USA Select Team Combine, which is like a development program to build up into the World Games. So I made the U16 team, and because I missed the tryout for Team 91 South that summer to go play for Team USA that year, which is like a little fall tournament for Team USA. I would still have like the whole summer to play 91 South and all that. They ended up not putting me on the team because I didn't make the tryout. And so I talked to the coach before. I thought it was fine, but for whatever reason, I wasn't put on the team. So that was just funny. So I was playing for my country, but I couldn't play for a regional team. But
Isn't that how it works out sometimes? You know what I mean? Where you're like, I can do this really big thing, but I can't do this like smaller. It's just, and not even big to small, but it's like I'm doing this thing that's like a bigger umbrella, but I can't have this one part, which is really weird. And I do want to give you a nod here of what you have done. When you were in high school, played for the Florida Crabs, a 3-time state champion at Lucy Beckham High School. You won 663 career faceoffs and your state championships 2022, 23, 24. 2-time South Carolina Lower State Faceoff of the Year, as well as a 3-time All-State selection and a 3-time USA Lacrosse All-American in 22, 23, and 24. So the one thing that I'll say to you is, if you're representing the United States of America, but you can't represent a region, obviously they don't know what they're talking about. Flynn Wilson here with us this morning in this Bearcat Breakroom. Yeah, of course, man. My pleasure. And last season, your freshman season with Binghamton Men's Lacrosse in 2025, you appeared as a freshman in all 14 games, led the team with 79 face-off wins, collected 20 ground balls, and recorded your first collegiate assist at Bryant on May 1st in the semifinals of the America East Men's Lacrosse Championships. You won 11 face-offs, collected 4 ground balls against number 12 in the country, Harvard, on March 29th, and you were a member of the America East All-Rookie team. That's a lot of great stuff that comes from you telling, I mean, all of those things we get to say after you told me, hey, growing up, I got cut more than once. So what does it mean to you to work to where you are today and to be able to achieve these things instead of doing what a lot of people do where they hit adversity and they give up?
I'd probably say what it means to me is, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I was able to prove to myself that it doesn't matter what happens. It just matters how I respond to what happens. Being able to get back up after being knocked down is the most important thing in life. And it means a lot. I mean, it means a lot to me and my family. I'd say my parents definitely put just as much into this as I did. I mean, obviously they're the reason why I can even go to school up here in upstate New York. So it means a lot to be able to show everybody that, it doesn't matter what happens. It matters how you respond. And it means a lot to make my parents proud in that aspect. So.
And you talk about it doesn't matter what happens, it matters how you respond to what happens. This team this season at Binghamton in your sophomore season with the men's lacrosse program started the season in 2026 with 4 straight losses. Since then has split 2 wins, 2 losses. Those first 2 games of the season, Lafayette on the road, St. Bonnie's at home, those were games that were 10-9 within 1 goal. So, you've had these close matchups. You've had Marist, which was 9-6. You've had Stony Brook, which was 9-6. So we look at these that could have gone either way, and starting 0-4 and then responding with 2-2 in the last 4 games. What can you say to me about where this team is at, how this team as a whole has responded to adversity, and what you've learned?
We got a lot of dogs in the locker room. We got guys that will get back up no matter what happens to them. We started 0-4. We started 0-4 last year as well. But it doesn't matter what happens to this team. We got guys that are going to keep getting back up. We have some great leadership that's going to hold us accountable. When we don't do what we need to be doing. So it's there's a lot of checks that we have on our team that help out a lot. This team is nowhere but on the upside. Like you said, we had a few close losses, and those are learning moments. And so that, learning moments in the beginning of the season I think are big so that we can find the winning moments later in the season, in these conference games. So, these, the seniors on our team, the coaching staff, we have some great leadership that helps us a lot in improving, and we're definitely on the upside. This team, we're in good spirits knowing that we have some hard workers that are going to push everybody, and it's going to be really cool to watch come the end of the season.
Yeah, we have 5 more matchups coming up here in the regular season, 3 of those 5 on the road and 2 at home, UMBC and Bryant. And you can see those on Saturdays, April 11th at noon and April 18th at noon. Those final home matches before a hopeful run in the postseason for Flynn and the crew with Binghamton Men's Lacrosse. In this Bearcat Breakroom, we're going to take some time to do some rapid fire. Flynn, you can ask me any topic, any question. Doesn't have to be sports. Could be whatever we want it to be. You get to ask the first question. I'll ask the second. We'll go back and forth and take full advantage of this, since you as a student athlete you've probably never gotten to ask a question.
Appreciate that. God, pressure's on right now. You have any pets?
I do. I have a dog. Her name is Lily. She's in my studio right now, and she's giving me a very, very dirty look because she's hungry. So, yeah, she has looked at me in a way that makes me feel like a terrible father, but I earned that today because she should have been fed before we hopped on here. My question back to you is, let's stick with animals. If you could snap your fingers and morph into any real or fictional animal, what animal would you want to be and why?
Man, okay. If I could snap my fingers, I would say, I would say an elephant. I would
Okay.
say I'd want to be an elephant.
Okay, why?
They just, they just look really, in the videos I've seen of elephants, they just look like really cool, calm animals. They just kind of hang out, and, walk
Cool.
around with their trunks, hang out.
Cool and calm and hang out. I like it. What's your next question for me?
What's your favorite NFL team?
Oh, the gentleman before asked as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fan.
I've been a Jaguars fan from when they came out in '95. So I'm a Jags fan, and yeah, they're right over my shoulder. But they frustrate me sometimes, but they're coming off a good season, so I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, they had a great year. Trevor Lawrence, he seems like the man.
Yeah. My question back to you, Flynn. If you could jump into any movie or TV show universe, where would you go and why? Like if you were going to spend the rest of your life I'll put a video game in there too. If you're going to spend the rest of your life in a video game, a TV show, or a movie universe, tell me where you would go and why you would choose to live there.
It's actually funny. I was just asked that question the other day. I'd probably say Top Gun. Because you get to fly jets around, do cool missions. You get to hang out with Tom Cruise. Like, seems like a cool gig. There's a lot of pluses when it comes to Top Gun, so I think that's what I'm going to take.
So I'm going to tell you, God works in purposeful ways. When I saw your name and I was introducing you this morning, my brain said to me, "That sounds like a Top Gun character." So I'm no joke, hand to God. I saw Flynn Wilson and I was like, Top Gun. So it just made sense to me. It's funny. So it's funny that you picked that. What is your last question for me, Flynn?
I'm not great at asking questions. What is your favorite energy drink?
Oh, it's very funny that you asked me that, because I'm going to grab one when I take a break here, which is Reign Body Fuel. I actually work with Reign and Monster, and so Reign Sour Gummy Worm is my favorite. So
Yeah, I know a few guys that like that flavor as well.
yeah, I like Reign. So my final question for you, Flynn, if we were gonna make, I've never asked this question before, but I'm gonna do this. I don't know why, because I'm hungry and it's breakfast time. If we were gonna make a Flynn pancake, what would be in the Flynn pancake, and what restaurant would serve it?
What restaurant? So does it have to be like a chain, or is it like
No, it could be anything. It could be local, could be hometown, whatever.
I'm gonna say it would be served at Waffle House, because I have a lot of Waffle Houses near where I live. Even though you said pancakes, but I'd say a blueberry pancake for sure.
All right, why blueberry?
I've always loved blueberry pancakes. I always take blueberry over chocolate chip pancakes, so I'm gonna have to stick to my gut here and go blueberry. It's important. It's important to me. So
Well, I would say almost every Saturday morning growing up as a kid, my dad would make me blueberry pancakes, which is why I love blueberry pancakes. And my pop he still makes them to this day. And so when I go over and see him or we're doing something for Christmas, he'll make blueberry pancakes. But I actually have made blueberry chocolate chip. So if you put them together, I'm telling you right now, it's actually a really good thing to do. So you should try it.
I've never thought of that. Yeah, I need to get in on that. That sounds like a great plan.
So Flynn Wilson, when you don't see him on the lacrosse field on faceoffs, winning those faceoffs, you will see him in the air spinning around a few times like anybody would in Top Gun. So for the guy who is the faceoff king on the field and the pilot in the air, Flynn Wilson, Bearcat Breakroom, Binghamton University, and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. Flynn, you and the guys, like I said, have found your way to get some victories here and look to spin it around. And I have confidence in these last 5 that you'll make it count and do what you need to do to move forward. And I, of course, appreciate you coming on the show today to help share your story.
Thank you so much, Dan.
I'll talk to you soon, Flynn. Take care. That coming from Flynn Wilson one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University in what we call the Bearcat Breakroom. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Austin Collins joins us in this jam-packed edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside of these Great Lakes Honda City studios. Stay with us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. And of course, they're always available to you by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. So make sure you connect with them today and let them know that DT sent you their way. And it's not me talking about myself in the third person. It's me just stating That's probably an easier way to say it. Wake up call or say DT sent you. So with that being said, we are here inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios with our third guest of the day. And I am so excited to have this gentleman on the broadcast. I got to see him about a week ago, most recently, and we got to hang out at the Syracuse Pro Day for a few minutes. That is Mr. Austin Collins, who is here with me, picture in picture, Syracuse Orange offensive line alum, and being here with us on the broadcast on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I cannot say enough about this 2026 NFL draft prospect who stepped in to Syracuse and was able to help the Orange move forward and be there in a pinch when Syracuse's offensive line has really needed some assistance over these last couple seasons. So with that being said, Mr. Collins, how we doing? Austin, can you hear us? We could see him, but we can't. I don't know if he can hear us. So,
are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you, Austin. How you doing?
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear us at all? Okay. So Austin is talking.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, Austin is trying to get to us, and he cannot hear us. We can hear Austin, but for some reason he cannot hear us back. So we're gonna try it again. We'll bring him back in here. We'll give him another shot. He might have something with the audio. Sometimes it's just a setting switch. So we'll see if we can bring him into this and see if we can get him. So we've lost him for a second, but we'll try and bring Austin Collins back in here to the broadcast. That's live, baby. That's how it happens sometimes. So we're working on bringing him back in here. Let's see if he can hear us this time around. God willing, he can. So, Austin, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear us. So,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And we're gonna reach out to him here and see if we can test his settings here. And we'll see if we can fix the settings or give him a little note here on the settings. Because we can hear him fine and we can see him, but he can't hear us. So it may just be something on the computer that's a playback setting for him. That's what it typically is when it comes to Zoom, is the playback may need to be switched into something else. So we'll try and bring him on. You can obviously find him. He will be April 23rd to the 25th. We'll have Austin Collins with everyone else going out for the NFL draft with the opportunity of hopefully finding themselves a home offensive lineman for the Syracuse Orange. So as he checks...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. So I can hear Austin.
I don't know.
He's working on his playback setting here to see if he can fix something. So hopefully we can get him here in a second. He's got nice headphones on. I mean, his headphone game is sharp. I love my headphones, and he's got some really cool looking headphones. So hopefully we could bring him in here in a moment. What we will do is we'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call.
I'm going to leave and try to rejoin on my phone.
Okay. So
I don't know why it's not working on my computer.
Okay. So Austin's going to come back with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to take a quick step aside, and we'll be back right after this. Stay with us. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and of course, all the time online by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. So we're looking to have Austin Collins here with us. Austin, can you hear us?
Yep, got you this time.
There we go. All right, so Austin Collins is here. You could hear him, but he could not hear us. Now we can hear each other. Austin Collins, Syracuse Orange offensive line alum and 2026 NFL draft prospect, speaking with us fresh off of Syracuse Pro Day. Austin, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I got to chat with you for a little bit at Syracuse Pro Day. What were your overall takeaways? You had the opportunity to get out there, run a bunch of different drills, and show the majority of the NFL. Almost every franchise was there. So you got to show almost the majority of the NFL what you can do. How did you feel coming off of Pro Day?
I felt real good. I felt like I displayed my skills to the best of my ability for the most part. Did have a tweak at the end of my 40, but I was able to power through and show my athletic ability, my speed, and my power. So I think it went very well. I got pretty good feedback from the scouts there, and looking forward to see what happens next.
Yeah, and what were the conversations with the scouts? I mean, when you say that you got pretty good feedback, where did you get it from? How did you get it? Was it kind of instantaneous coming up to you? Was it a message after Pro Day? Bring me into that.
Yeah. So it was a mix of all that. A lot of these guys are this month really. They're running with their heads cut off, being in a different city, doing a different pro day almost every day. A lot of them were mainly like, good jobs. You impressed us today, stuff like that. And then the Bills did stop me and wanted to, and they formally did this past week, invite me to their local pro day. So I'll be up there to do that. And now it's really just time for my agent to do the work. That's just to say.
Yeah, you said that the Bills spoke with you specifically, and they invited you to their local pro day, which, obviously, or their local opportunity. I mean, obviously, congratulations to that first and foremost, of course. And the Buffalo Bills have been known to look to Syracuse no matter who the coaching staff is. It's not too far away, just a couple hours. What did that mean to you to get that opportunity with the Bills, the fact that you're going to be going up there and that you're one of the people that they specifically reached out to be a part of their pre-draft workout?
Yeah, it gives you a lot of hope, but also it gives you your next goal to get in the weight room and push even farther and try to even put up better scores and Now it's going to be in front of a whole franchise's staff, and uh, they're all their coaching staff, their GM's probably going to be there. Really, just a new goal to show my skill set and hopefully get the opportunity that I've been looking for since I was a child.
Yeah, and to kind of go back and Tarantino this thing, so to speak, what's your first memory? Bring me back to, Perrysburg, Ohio, and when you first remember thinking to yourself, I want to be in the NFL. I want to play this game. I want to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mainly my love for the game mainly came from my dad initially. He played for BGSU, Bowling Green State University, which is just 15 minutes away from Perrysburg. Um, and just going, it's Maction over there, so going to a game on a random Tuesday night as a child and freezing to death with your father, but enjoying a great football game is one thing I can recall that I definitely fell in love with the game. And then Perrysburg, we have or I think they still have it. It's called Big Gold, where it's pretty much all the local kids in the city, and it's your first taste of tackle football, and you're really just playing. They're pretty much just colored teams. You're playing against each other in fourth and fifth grade, and then you and then there's an all-star selection process where you're playing different cities and stuff like that. Is my early on memories of football that I can recall that are have stuck with me this long and will always be core memories for me with this game.
For you, offensive line, when did that come as like, hey, this might be my route, this might be my thing?
Yeah, so that was really the recruiting process. I Every camp I went to, I was mainly playing defensive line. My size honestly fits more of a interior D lineman, and that's what I was trying to go as. And then uh, my biggest offer, which was Louisville at the time, Louisville and Purdue, were my two biggest offers at the time. They really showed me like, hey, like you can you can go the defensive route at a smaller school, but we really see the potential in you as an offensive lineman on the bigger stage and the P5 at the time. So it was really just the recruiting process that drew me to offensive line.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, going through the recruiting process, you're on the D line. They say, hey, we feel that you're going to have a better shot at being a part of this team on the offensive line. How did you navigate that? I mean, you're still in the trenches, right? But to be the one that's blocking as opposed to the one that's trying to break through the wall, were you like, yeah, okay, whatever I need to do? Or were you like, oh, man, I want to be the one to get after the quarterback, not the one to protect the quarterback?
There was a little resentment initially, but like I said, my dad's been my main motivator, but also just guiding tool per se in this game. And even that's something he wished he did back in the in the '90s when he played. Is switched over to offense. He was a D lineman, linebacker turned D lineman, and he wished he went the O line route. So really, just having that wisdom and just praying about it, coming to terms, and really just diving head first into offensive line play instead of kind of both. I mean, I played both in high school, but really diving into it coming towards college is what happened.
You had Louisville and Purdue. What made Louisville the right fit for you when you were coming down the wire between those two?
I really think it was the coaching staff at the time. Coach Scott Satterfield and his staff were there, and it was really kind of a clean slate. It was for Louisville sports, a lot of fluctuation at that time in 2020 COVID year with the new staff, and then I believe basketball was moving on as well. It was it was weird, but I was living in Louisville at the time, going to high school there, and I really felt called to really be a part of this, even after moving back up to Ohio for my last year of high school. Really just fell in love with the staff, the city, complex, the stadium, all of it really fell into place for me.
So you said you were in Perrysburg, Ohio. You left, you moved to Louisville before your senior season of high school. So bring me into that. What brought you to Louisville, and just, that kind of interesting path of leaving Ohio for Louisville and then eventually going to Louisville for college?
Yeah, so freshman year I was in Perrysburg, then sophomore, junior in Louisville, and my last year was back at Perrysburg. But that move, that transition was mainly just my dad's work. He got an opportunity down here, and then he's in the automotive industry, and I guess he's good enough at his job to be wanted back. So he was able to go back after the 2 years we spent here. I won a state championship here with Christian Academy of Louisville, and just during that time, I had just really good memories. Really, I had a really good time down here. Really close group of guys, even in high school football. Something that just drew me to want to come back here, and I'm happy I did.
I want to look at the history for you, Austin Collins, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Louisville and Syracuse offensive line alum, 2026 NFL draft prospect. When we go back and look historically, go back to 2022 when Austin was at Louisville, appeared in 7 games, played 29 snaps, did not allow a sack, a quarterback hurry, or a hit, and was not penalized on the season. In 2023, appeared in 13 games, and in those 13 games, 578 snaps, allowed 1 sack in 296 pass blocking snaps. 531 of his snaps came at right guard, but also played center and left guard. Then in 2024, in 12 games, 7 straight at right guard for the Louisville Cardinals, played 542 snaps, all at right guard, didn't allow a single sack or quarterback hit in 311 pass blocking snaps. And then we look at the one season at Syracuse after Louisville, last season in 2025, appeared in 10 games with 9 starts at center, 576 offensive snaps, all at center, allowed 1 sack in his final 9 college games. I don't know what the NFL's looking for, but I would think a man who is playing 500 this, 500 that, 300 this, 200 whatever that, and allowing 1 sack, man, I don't know what you do and how you do it, Mr. Collins, because it comes down to your technique and your vision and your trust in yourself and your gut. But I would think the NFL is looking for a guy that keep their quarterback upright, and you've done that a lot in your career.
Yes, sir.
So when I'm reading off these statistics to you of 1 sack in 300 snaps and, not allowing a sack in 9 games and this, that, and the third, just bring me into your technique, how you do what you do, because looking at it on paper and seeing these numbers, it's absolutely incredible what you have done to protect your quarterback and make sure that they have an opportunity to throw the ball.
First off, thanks. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate all the stats. A lot of time I don't even pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it really, like you said, it comes back to coaching, comes back to technique, but it also comes back to the guys before you. This was my 6th year of college football. I'm a super senior when I came to Syracuse, and I think a lot of it, like I said, comes back to the guys before me. I had great guys coming into Louisville when I was a young, dumb freshman. Veteran guys teaching me the ways. In a sense, coaching me up to be a better player. Even at that point, taking little cues, and you build on the coaching from, the veterans in the locker room, the coaches, the assistant coaches, the strength staff, um, even them knowing why your body does this and what you need to strengthen this for to help you on the field, stuff like that. It's really, it comes down to the full system of the whole staff and really just the franchise. And I believe, you know, I've excelled, and you read those stats off. I excelled mainly because my training and how just hard I worked. I'm your very average Joe, intangibles kind of guy, 6'3", 300. But I think just my grit and how hard I like to play the game is the reason I've gotten this far. And also being in the center position, the knowledge of the game really plays a big part in it. Being able to identify fronts and effectively communicate with the guys up front, all five, and sometimes you're even communicating with the tight end and the running back as well. You really just have to be vocal and be that leader for the trenches.
And for you, when you are communicating, how do you do the dance of I'm going to tell my quarterback, I'm telling my running back, I'm telling the guys on the line with me that I'm seeing something that, I mean, you're face to face with the defense. You're right here.
Mhm.
So it's like you're face to face with the enemy, but you're trying to tell their secrets. So how do you tell the secrets of the enemy to your teammates before the snap without your enemy knowing that you've already figured them out?
I mean, a lot of the times we have, our calls, our code words. And I mean, that's the thing about this game. A lot of them offensive line wise are very similar. You get a Ray or a Lee, a Rip or a Liz, a right directional call and a left directional call. You get zone terms, you get gap scheme terms. A lot of the time, the defensive linemen already know what's coming. It really just comes down to the execution. Then obviously you have your alerts and stuff that is more close knit to the program, but um, it's really about the execution, being on the same page with the technique and whichever guy I'm working with, whether it's the right or left guard or even sometimes the tackles on certain gap scheme plays. It's uh, making sure everybody knows what's going on and we're all on the same page is the most important part to have a successful play.
Yeah. And I marvel at the position because so many people pay attention to the quarterback, but the first person to touch the football on offense is the center.
Right.
And if you don't have that relationship with the quarterback, that trust with the quarterback, the timing with the quarterback, I mean, your technique can be good, but if you're not on the same page or the same timing with your quarterback, then here's a fumble. So, I mean, bring me into that because this past season at Syracuse, you had Steve Angeli, and the mentality was, all right, I'm here, Steve's there. And then here we are 3.5 games in, and now it's not Steve. And you had Dan Villari, you had Joe Filardi, you had Ricky Collins Jr., you had Luke Carney, you had a plethora of quarterbacks. So how did you navigate through the fact of once you build a relationship with a quarterback, you had to build a relationship with like 5 different guys this year?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of it is they're even more vocal than I have to be up front. They're telling everybody what the play is, hot routes, stuff like that. It really comes down to the communication and knowing their vocal cues, being able to hear them in a loud environment. And for the most part, since we have a set cadence, shotgun isn't the issue, and you just got to make sure that under the center plays, you have them. You have to work those a little extra with the set quarterback you have that week, and just be able to feel comfortable with them under you and be able to execute a good snap to be able to set up a successful play.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, adversity happens and adversity comes, but how did you how did you navigate through it, Austin? I mean, fans were watching, and it was like, who's going to be the quarterback this week? What's going to happen? You're the center. I mean, you're the consistent in the inconsistent world that Syracuse had this past season. What did you learn about yourself, and how did you navigate through it? What did you lean on in those moments?
Um, yeah, I really just go back to my faith and what I leaned on, and just praying, giving it all to God, and obviously we didn't have the season anybody wanted to have. We started off on the highest of highs and
Yeah.
ended up on the lows of lows, and that's really the games. I hate to say this, but somebody had to be that team, and unfortunately, it was us. And I didn't think that would ever happen, especially if Steve's injury didn't happen. And I really think with how the season we had, I think one thing internally, and I don't know if fans or you saw this, but I wasn't expecting for our team to stay together as much as we did, even through those games. A lot of those games, it's a tight first half, and we just whether it's defensive or offensive production, it wasn't coming back in the second half, and
Yeah.
We were in a handful of those games, and a couple of them we weren't, but in our mind, the games were never up until they were. So um, just fighting through that and being a offensive line vocal leader, trying to keep the front five in the game, because that's one thing. Once Steve went down, Coach Fran really asked not just the offensive line but the rest of the offensive positions to really step up, and um, I really think we did. The first game against Duke coming back, I really feel like offensive line wise, we had a solid game. And we just tried to keep building on it, keep giving Ricky, Luke, Joe, hell, Dan, um, time to execute the offense, and it was tough, but it's a life lesson. It's my first losing season of college football since my freshman year, so it was definitely a learning curve, but something that I'm personally not a loser, and I don't want to do that again at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, you said you're surprised. I mean, or surprising to some people, this team stayed together. You know, sometimes players will go out in the media and the locker room could be a whole mess. And they'll say, hey, we love each other. We got each other's backs. But in reality, they don't. What was it like being in the locker room in these games? To go 0-8 in the last 8 games of the season after starting 3-1. Tell us the truth. Do you know what was the locker room like? What did it feel like? Because I mean, the statute of limitations is over, right? You're going toward the NFL. So
Yeah.
bring me into what was actually happening, because a lot of people like to speak for things that they're not a part of, and my show
Right.
exists, and I'm a firm believer in go straight to the horse's mouth and let the horse speak instead of anybody else. So what was it like?
I mean, me personally, as the center of not just the O line but the team, and it was tough because I hate to keep bringing it up, but I really, if Steve didn't get hurt, we were going places. But at first, the team comes with doubt, but and Coach Fran and the staff did a really good job of being like, hey, obviously we lost our guy, but we still have 8 games. We're 3-1. We still have to go out there and do it. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
the guys behind Steve weren't. And I love all these guys. They're all going to be very successful, not just in the sport, but as men. Um, they just weren't ready to play on the stage yet, and that's okay. That's part of the game. That's part of development, and that's just it's life. And I think it was tough for a lot of guys. A couple of guys checked out, no doubt. Obviously, there were a couple instances in the media where family members were saying stuff, and that is what it is. And um, but I really think we stayed together as best we could. You know, the defense was relying on the offense. Offense was relying on the defense even more now. And we still, up until the end, tried to play as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it is. Adversity happens, it comes, and I believed. I definitely believed with Steve, and now Steve, he's back at practice, and he's telling us like, hey man, I'm ready. Coach Nixon saying hopefully in June. What makes you believe so much in Steve Angeli? Because you said it and you leaned back and you smiled. You said, man, if he stayed healthy, we were going places. Why do you believe in him? What is it about Steve that just makes you think like truly have that faith that he can lead a team to a positive place?
I really think it's just like who he is. He's a ball player. He's a leader of men, and I think that's why we were so hot. He's a perfect. It's a perfect offensive scheme for him. And with the right guys up front, he showed that he can make the difference. He was a leading passer at that point in the nation with the yards or whatever else. But he's just a good guy to have, and he not fully, but he reminds me of a lot when the year prior I was playing with Tyler Shuck.
Yeah.
Now he's had all his success in New Orleans. He reminds me a lot of Tyler, and the one thing they both have is that grit to take a hit and get back up and not bash your own line. We're fighting up there for him. He's fighting back there to make the proper read for us.
Yeah.
And both of those guys have a lot of that. Steve's not as goofy as Tyler, but Steve is going to be a great guy to lead this team back to success this year. I have no doubt, and I really believe that you will be seeing him on Sundays. Just even when I was up there for pro day, how intentional he still is with his rehab in there with the training staff. Got a great training staff to lead him to success, and I think he will be able to go out there full speed come August, September, and be able to really make an impact for this team again.
Yeah, and I love hearing that because I love my conversations with Steve, and I've loved being around him, and that it was heartbreaking to me when he went out because I just him and I got to spend time talking with each other on and off the air, and I'm just like, man, I really like this guy. So I think it speaks volumes what you're saying about him from the inside of the locker room looking out. I want to make another note. There's a lot of things you brought up, but I have to say this because it needs to be stated. But before I state it, I'm going to state the thing that's more important. You brought up your faith. I said, what did you lean on in these trials and tribulations? You said, I leaned on my faith in God. It means everything to me. It's the center of everything I do, and I don't apologize for it. So I respect what you said, and I'd love for you to maybe go a little bit deeper into why God is an important part of your life and why you don't hide God in the shadows.
Yeah, no doubt. My faith with the Lord is obviously an ongoing thing. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is Jesus Christ. And that's the one thing he did for us. He died on the cross for all our sins. And I really just lean back to whether you're running a 300 yard run in the hot summer or a gasser or up downs, whatever it may be, just lean on him and give glory to him. My parents have done a really good job raising us in a Christian household, and that's one thing I'll always thank them for. I really just believe, and even now, obviously with what's going on in the world,
Yeah.
no matter what, Jesus loves you and he wants a relationship with you, and that's something I'll always lean on and have my belief and faith in.
Yeah, living in the world we live in today, it's crazy in the sense of there's people that outright lie. Then there's the lying that comes with artificial intelligence. And then there is the uncertainty that comes with that. There's this unrest. There's people that are controlled by the media. There's the polarization of what religion, what political party, all this stuff. When you talk about your faith in God, how do you let him be your compass in a world that seems upside down?
Yeah, I mean, to that, I would say Jesus doesn't have a political party. He wants a relationship, whether you're on the left, right, in the middle. Don't believe in the party system, whatever it may be. Um, but I really just try to focus on that, my faith in Christ, rather than what's going on. I know a lot of people don't believe in other things, and that's okay. And that's the great United States we live in, and that's what it is. But for me, I feel that call, I feel that hope that one day he's coming back, and um, be ready for that day.
I love it. Austin Collins here with us. I like you more than I did a second ago, Austin. Look at that. So Syracuse Orange offensive line alum, 2026 NFL draft prospect, and just somebody that the more we talk, the more I appreciate, and that's what I meant from those sentiments. Austin Collins, I'm going to mention this again. I know I mentioned statistically year by year, but I'm about to mention something, and I hope you NFL draft scouts are paying attention. I hope the 32 NFL franchises are paying attention to this. In your career overview of your time in college, appeared in 45 collegiate games across 6 seasons between Louisville and Syracuse, played 1,798 snaps, allowing 5 sacks in his collegiate career on 995 pass blocking snaps. That's according to Pro Football Focus. 995 pass blocking snaps. 5 of those were sacks. 990, the quarterback's not on the ground. I think wow is an understatement. When I say that to you, how does that hit you?
It's crazy. It's been a great career, and I'm thankful for it. But to your sense of saying this to the scouts and the franchises, I'm a dog. I play with grit, and yeah, I'll trash talk. I might be smaller. I might be bigger, but the one thing you're gonna get is my full effort and uh, a newfound love for the game again. Really, uh, just ready to go out there and do the best I can, and wherever I end up.
You said newfound love for the game. What happened that maybe it went away, and then what brought it back?
Well, I'd just say getting to college, and I want to say newfound, but the first 2 years of college were difficult, just being in COVID, and obviously you go from the highs of high school football, playing both ways, barely getting off the field, to not getting much time, which it's okay. Most people in college would go through that, but um, being able to play and really enjoy the game again is something that I found the past 2-3 years, and ready to keep it going.
And we're looking forward to that opportunity of keeping it going for Austin Collins here. Austin, before we jump into rapid fire, to go a little bit farther with you said you're a dog, you're going to get after it, you're going to do what you need to do. What do you want the scouts to know? If there's something else you can say coming off of Pro Day and heading toward the NFL draft, we are, as of yesterday, we are less than a month from that first day of the draft, which will be April 23rd, and it'll conclude on April 25th. What else would you like to say to an NFL team that could be looking right at the screen right now saying, we got needs for offensive line? Listen, I'll tell you this, for being a Jaguars fan, it's not just the front 5, right? It's not just the top 5 guys that you have. Jacksonville had a problem of having lack of depth for many, many seasons. So looking at the NFL right now, there's always a necessity for offensive linemen who are just one snap away. Tell the NFL whatever you want to tell them right now before the draft.
Yeah, I would say, like I said, you're getting a dog. You're getting somebody who's played the center position who's knowledgeable, but also I've played the guard position, so I'm very versatile in in the middle three. I don't know if you want a 6'3" tackle out there, but hell, if you want me to go out there, I'll give it my best shot out against some good DNs. But um, I'm willing to step in wherever I need to, and you're getting a guy who loves the game and is willing to keep learning and keep growing from whoever you throw in front of me, and ready for it.
The center position, a position that needs to be thanked a heck of a lot more than it is, and that's why we're doing it here on the show today. Austin Collins, we have the opportunity inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios to play some rapid fire. You can ask me any question, any topic in the world. I have to answer it. We will go back and forth. You'll ask, and then I'll ask. And as I always say, enjoy it, because as a player, I don't think you've ever had the opportunity to ask a question. So,
Not at all.
What's your first question for me?
What drew you to getting in the media or on the radio and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. 5 years old, my dad had a word processor, which is, a glorified typewriter. It had a screen, so it was a typewriter that actually let you see what you were writing. And he would pick it up on a Saturday morning, super heavy. He'd put it on the kitchen table. He'd open it up. He'd go outside because he likes to work outside, and he would let me write on it for a little while. And I just remember being 5, always had a big imagination, always wanted to tell the story. And, I collected cards growing up, realized I had a photographic memory because I would collect the cards and I'd flip them over, look at the stats, and not even know I'm paying attention. And I'd be sitting at the dinner table and I'm like, Mom, Dad, did you know that this guy averages 14.9 points per game, 2.23 steals per game? He's, got 9 assists per game. That's pretty amazing. He went to this school. He did this, he did that. And then I started watching SportsCenter. I was like, wow. I was like, I can do that. And it kind of just coupled everything together. Being a storyteller, being creative, unique, innovative. I don't copy anybody. And when people say, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I don't pay attention. I'm too busy working on my stuff. I don't look at other people's stuff. And I believe in doing God's work. I believe in showing people they matter. I love making people laugh. I love being, like I said, innovative and unique. And I love the world of sports. I love what it's done for me. It's given me friends that I would have never met anywhere else. It's become a massive part of my life. And it's connected me with some of the most incredible souls that I could meet, and people that remind me who I am, people that get me closer to God. So, the answer could go on for decades, but I would say I was going to do it anyway. I was going to talk this way anyway. Why not turn a microphone on and try and help somebody?
Love it.
My question back to you, thank you. My question back to you, Austin. Let's stick with the show. If you were to take over my show tomorrow morning and it was Wake Up Call with Austin Collins, what 3 guests would you have on the show, living or deceased? And I want to know why.
Am I tied with Syracuse still?
You don't have to be.
Well, let's stay on the Syracuse theme. I would do, and I don't even know his name, but the coach we just hired for basketball.
Okay.
Uh,
Jerry McNamara. Yeah.
Yep, McNamara. I would have him. Gotta have Carmelo. I don't know. It's March Madness. I'm thinking basketball right now.
Oh,
and then I'd start with Fran Brown as my third.
Okay, so why Jerry and Melo and why Fran?
Well, to me, Melo is the biggest guy I can recall from Syracuse basketball. And then obviously the coaching change. I'm pretty sure he played with Carmelo, but now he's going to be coaching his son, hopefully. And then obviously Coach Brown, I've never been able to ask him the questions. He's always asked me the questions. So that's where that thought process came from.
This is a 1B. Give me 3 questions you would ask Fran, since you've never been able to ask him anything. If it was like right now, he jumped on the call, his face pops up here with us, and you have to just fire questions, what 3 would you ask him?
What would he be doing if it wasn't coaching football?
Okay.
Where would he live if he wasn't the Syracuse head coach? And then what drew him to coaching?
Okay. I like that. Fran, you're on the clock. So, Austin, what's your next question for me?
I guess tying it back to that, one of those questions is, where would you live if you went into Syracuse?
Well, my second home and second hub of my company is the great state of Florida.
Okay.
So that would be an easy answer, but having been to and broadcasted from, which still makes no sense to me, that I got to broadcast live from Rome and Capri in Italy. If I could snap my fingers and live somewhere right now, like take my girlfriend, take our dogs and, the whole family and go, if we could go live anywhere right now and I had a choice, I would give me Italy, give me a balcony, put me around the flowers and the food and the smells and the views. And yeah, I think as of right now, I'd live in Italy.
Got you.
My question back to you, Austin. If you could jump into any video game, TV show, or movie universe, and you're going to live there for the rest of your life, where would you go and why?
I would, okay. So I want to be a human. I want to be a transformer.
Okay.
I would be a truck, kind of like more of like Ironhide, but like with like a TRX Ram.
The fact that you knew what you wanted to be, you picked Ironhide, and you changed him up a little bit. Again, Austin, every time I talk to you, like the guy a little bit more, I tell people this all the time. They're like, if you could have any car, what would you have? I go, a Chevy Camaro, yellow with the black stripe. They're like, why? I was like, because I want to believe that Bumblebee is going to come out of it. Yeah. So
Right, no doubt.
I'm anxiously awaiting a Transformer movie, but I'm going to say this to Michael Bay and or anybody that's working on it. Austin and I will be proud to be in, voice, or have any part in your next Transformers movie. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
All right, what's your last question for me, Austin?
I guess if you weren't doing this kind of work, what else would or piques your interest? I know you said you had other business, but something you would like to get into.
Yeah, my comedy, doing that more, touring. When I test my comedy out, I test it on I'm not surrounded by any yes men. So I test my comedy out with strangers. I test it out with people that have become brothers and, sisters to me, to my parents, to obviously my girlfriend. And I just let it fly. And to one of my closest friends, who's like a brother to me, Isaac, I always say to him, stage or bus. And what I mean by that is I'll tell him something, he'll laugh, and I'll go, is this appropriate to say on stage, or am I leaving this for the tour bus? And so he'll tell me which one. But yeah, I mean, the thought of going on tour and just making people laugh, I've loved making people laugh my whole life. And so that's something on my mind. And then I would say musically, I would like to sing on stage to the world at least one time. I'd love to bring my mom out because she has a beautiful voice. And I said I wanted to act more. On my birthday, right around my birthday, October 21st, this past year, I said to God, I was like, hey, if there's a way that I can do this and still do everything I love to dive deeper in this world of acting and or directing, screenwriting. And on my birthday, I got asked to be an extra in a movie shooting in Syracuse, and I got to work a lot with the main actor. I got to be in scenes with just me and one of the actors. And so my hope is that when this movie comes out, I'm like in it. And unless they CGI do something to me, I live. So
That's sweet.
Yeah, so I'm excited. And, I got to be in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I can go back there and see myself coming out of the alleyway, which is still very surreal to me. And I think back on those moments with God, and I'm like, how did you do that? And he's like, I'm God. And I was like, yeah, but how? Like, I don't know. It feels like it was a dream. Doesn't even feel like it happened. But
Right. Everything falls into place.
hey, listen, his plan is better than mine, and he has taken all the ideas I had, and he's given me 10 lifetimes at 40 years old, and I feel like I've just gotten started. So I would say, God, keep challenging me, and I'll keep coming through for you.
Amen.
My question back to you. All right, I like this one. You have just been sworn in as the President of the United States. Who is standing next to you as your Vice President of the people that you know, people you have relationships with already?
Okay.
Who is your Vice President? And when you step to the podium for your first State of the Union address, what's the first executive order that Austin Collins would sign?
Oh boy. My VP, we've joked about this so many times. Would be my best friend Preston from Perrysburg. Preston Evans. He's doing well for himself. He's in Chicago and working for one of the big banks, but he's doing well. And we've joked about this growing up, but the first executive order would be something stupid. I don't even know. But I would say we probably wouldn't last very long in the office.
I think the first executive order should be that there is a National Offensive Lineman Day.
Yeah, we can make that for sure.
So with that being said, ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft, and we'll be talking with him before this again, Austin Collins. And Austin, seriously, this is the longest we've gotten to talk, and I appreciate you letting me tell your story. I appreciate you spending some time with me. I appreciate your trust and your candidness and just being here today. So I look forward to many more conversations to go. But I mean, honestly, like I said before, the more I get to know you, the more I respect you as a human being. And God is great, man. So I'm happy we crossed paths.
Yes, no doubt. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. I'll talk with you soon. Tell Preston to get his bags packed and be ready.
Yeah, will do.
All right, take care.
Yep, you too. Thanks.
Thank you. That coming from Austin Collins one more time. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. It is almost 11:30. We've taken one break today. So under promise, over deliver. That's what we do here on Wake Up Call, the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're going to take a step aside. We still have the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's. It's coming up right after this. Stay with us.
Avicolli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicolli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicolli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013 and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9 ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hey everybody, this is Rockney Roberts from Willow Rock Brewing Company. We are here in Cicero at the Willow Rock Pizza Pub.
And I'm Kevin Williams, also from Willow Rock Brewing Company. Happy to be here and happy to be partnering with CNS and Dan Tortora.
You want some place where you can feel comfortable and hopefully ingratiate yourself with the community. And Kevin, he grew up right down the road from here. I grew up in Brewerton, so not too far away. We know the area, we know the people, they're great, and we were just really excited to be able to come to the area.
Yeah, and having the opportunity to meet some of these coaches, some of the people in general already, and seeing the CNS colors kind of around, and already partnering on a smaller level with individual teams really made this make sense to us to really formalize kind of a partnership with the school and get this rolling.
You know, Willow Rock to me has always been about high quality beverages, high quality experiences, and now high quality food in our pizza pub. You know, that was something new for us when we came to Cicero. Right from the drop, we knew we were going to have a focus on the highest quality food to go with our high quality beer. At the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, you're getting high quality, hand cut, top-notch ingredients. We're open for lunch. That's a really important thing for us, is to be able to get that person in here like, hey, you only got 30 minutes for lunch, but we're gonna have something for you that you can get quickly and available to everybody.
Yeah, we wanted something that was just a little bit outside the box, a little bit outside of comfort zone, but still something that you could rely on to be consistent and easy to look at and easy to be like, oh, I can see myself eating this. I can see myself wanting to have that more than once. Eating a whole pizza like our beef on weck pizza, I've never seen one anywhere. It's just a great ideas, great inspiration across the board. We're their spot to stop. We're their friendly neighborhood watering hole, as well as pizza place and place to stop for a restaurant. Not just beer drinkers here. We've got wines, we got cocktails, we got non-alcoholic stuff for the kids.
The location is more important today than it ever has been before, and we're lucky enough to be here in Cicero. The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is a place where you can bring your family. You can come in, you can grab a soda, you can relax. You can come after a game, before a game, your parents, your grandparents. Our goal is to make sure that everyone's comfortable here. We want students, we want athletes, we want your coaches. It's going to be a good time. So come here, enjoy the high quality food, high quality beverage that we're going to offer to everybody. And hey, go North Stars.
We're so happy to have the North Stars. We are very much a kid-friendly establishment. We have tons of space outside for everybody to be playing outside, as well as listening to live music, enjoying some pizza.
The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is open 6 days a week here in Cicero. That is Tuesday through Sunday. And our website is willowrockbrew.com, and our socials are at Willow Rock Brew. So find us on the net, find us in person. We'll see you soon.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Jerry McNamara back to Syracuse. It just makes me think of back to life, back to reality. But excited. Hopefully it is that. But Jerry is back home, and we know that it's officially official. And it was really cool because this just popped up when I was on X, the former Twitter. It was a picture of Jerry's introductory press conference at Siena, and I was there with him that day. And I had written in that, God has always been great to me. He has put incredible people in my life, people I'm proud of, people I'll drive for, people I know, in caps, will succeed. Thank you, Jerry, for treating me well with kindness and respect from day one. Right back at you. So that popped up just now when we were on commercial break, and I wrote, cool seeing this pop up today of when Jerry McNamara had his introductory press conference as the head coach of Siena Saints men's basketball. I wouldn't have missed it. Changed my show schedule around to make sure to be there. And now I get to see another introductory press conference for Jerry in my hometown. God is great. Welcome home, Jerry. So I just got to share that once again. Mr. McNamara. So the story about Jerry and I is unique. And the uniqueness of it. So I got to meet Jerry when... So, okay, let me go back here. So I graduated from high school in 2003. Okay, so I graduated from high school, Christian Brothers Academy, in 2003. And I went to Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Jerry McNamara had come to Syracuse when I was, right before I went to Scranton, he came to Syracuse. Obviously, they won in 2003 the national championship. And I was one of two people that predicted it in the brackets that I would do. We did the brackets, and that's why I still do this, because there's nothing that's going to take the place of pen and paper for me. But I do brackets by hand, and every year I would print out a bunch of brackets and try to get a bunch of people to fill it out and have a giant bracket pool for fun. And so I put Syracuse. I got laughed at and ridiculed for weeks. I shouldn't say I got ridiculed, but people were like, yeah, okay, Dan, you're a homer, da-da-da-da. Nothing bad, nothing evil, just, people calling you a homer because it's your hometown. But I thought Syracuse could do it, so I picked them to win the championship. When they won with Jerry and Hakeem and Carmelo and Queth and Craig and Josh and Billy and so on and so forth, when they won with that team, a bunch of people were in the cafeteria at CBA slapping each other high five. I said, y'all need to put your hands down. And I took the brackets out. I'm like, you picked Duke, you picked Kansas, you picked this, you picked that. I said, y'all laughed at me, but we did it. And so I was really happy going back to that time. So the funny thing is, Jerry coming to Syracuse, and then I went to Scranton. It was when he was going to college at Syracuse, shortly after I started going to college at Marywood in his hometown. So I would tell people all the time we switched hometowns. And I would go, and see Jerry McNamara Syracuse jerseys in, in storefronts in Scranton, PA. So when I was in Scranton, it kind of felt like I was home. And, I would drive home, want to go to a game. And, there was buses that were driving in the same direction as me on Interstate 81 from Scranton to Syracuse, which is almost exactly 2 hours and almost exactly just like a straight line from Scranton to Syracuse. So it was really cool to live with, the fact that Jerry was here and I was there and we were in each other's hometowns. And I'm working at ESPN Radio, 630, 1240 and 96.1 FM in Scranton, at time Shamrock Communications at the time. And they had this person come through that was just kind of touring the facility. And it was Jerry McNamara. And he came, I still remember, I get chills. So he was coming by and I'm sitting at my cubicle and I had the logos of all of my favorite teams in my cubicle at my desk. And so I saw him and I was like, oh, can I meet him? And so they brought him in to meet me and I introduced myself to Jerry, hey, Jerry, Dan Tortora, this and that. And I said, I want to show you something. And I brought him around to my cubicle and I showed him that not only did I have the Syracuse logo, but it was the top one on all my stuff. And so that's how we met. I was like, you and I switched hometowns, and I showed him I'm a big fan of Syracuse, and then I'm from Syracuse. That's when we met. That was in 2008. And then, I went from Scranton and working at ESPN there to working at ESPN in Syracuse to working at ESPN in Orlando to then, working with Fox Online and being at home in Syracuse, New York, and then going to the Score 1260. And then I started my company officially July 20th of 2012. So, I'm covering Syracuse. Jerry's an assistant coach on the team, and I get to talk with Jerry again and remind him, hey, we met and this and that. And we, built a really good relationship. We'd shake hands after the game, acknowledge each other after the game. We'd talk after a bunch of games, but we saw each other pretty much after every game. And, went on the road, went to the NCAA tournament, went to, conference tournaments and saw him. And I just, remember being in the room and good, bad, and indifferent, team wins, team loses. I'm there with Jerry and, with Hop and Adrian and Alan and so on and so forth, and Jim Boeheim. So he leaves to go to Siena, and I find out when the press conference is. I pre-record my show. I do my work ahead of time so that you, as listeners and viewers and supporters, that you don't lose anything. But then I jumped on the thruway, got on I-90, and drove my butt down to the Albany area to see Jerry. I wasn't going to miss it. Got to meet his wife that day, who was with, obviously his kids. So got to see them. Got to meet his parents, who, I grew up watching them. They'd show them every game sitting in the stands. They went to everything. I think Jerry said they went to all but 2 games or something like that, or maybe they went to every single one. And so being at Siena, and, the people at Siena treated me absolutely fantastic. And I want to thank them for their hospitality when I was there, and even just reaching out to them. And so Jerry ends up going to Siena. I'm there for the press conference, and I wanted to talk with Jerry, and I was saying to them, like, hey, I want to do a one-on-one with Jerry. And there's a bunch of media there, people I know, people I don't know. And Jerry was like, I got it. Like, yeah, of course. Yeah. They're like, oh, can you talk to Dan? And he's like, yeah, like that's not a problem at all. And he was showing me his phone. He's joking around with me and this and that. He's like, let me take care of this, then we'll talk. And we went off to the side and we did an interview together. We took that picture that I just showed you together, and, couldn't be prouder. And then he hired Ryan Blackwell and Arinze Onuaku. Arinze and I got to know each other because I cover Orlando Pro Summer League, which I wish the Magic would bring back, and pray to God if it's, his will that it comes back, and in Jesus' name, because I'd love to be there for that. Always love going there around the 4th of July time. So I met Arinze Onuaku and was covering him there, interviewed him a bunch of times there. So when Jerry hired him, I'm like, oh, this is great. He hired a big man to coach the big men. And that makes sense. So I loved the hire, and he hired Ryan Blackwell. Well, Blackwell and I spent a lot of time together because he was the head coach of the Liverpool Warriors boys basketball team. And so I got to know Ryan because we would do shows together every year. And we'd sit down together, we'd eat together, we did a bunch of stuff together. And I just really appreciate Ryan. So loved the staff hire. And I've just loved Siena's story and wanted nothing but the best for them. And I kept thinking to myself, if this thing doesn't work out with Adrian, maybe Jerry's the guy. And I watched what Jerry did, and I watched the success he had, and I thought to myself, they got to call him. I said, if I'm Jerry, I would double my price of whatever it was when he left and went to Siena. But I was like, you have to call Jerry. And I've said it over and over and over again that Jerry's the right fit. Jerry would be a good fit. I wrote a bunch of things about it, and you can go and read them on my timeline on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. I mean, you could go and check it out for yourself. You can go to my website, wakeupcalldt.com, and you can see it there. So, I've been very clear about Jerry and what he's done and what he's accomplished, and that I thought that he should get the phone call. And I said, mark my words, he will get a bunch of phone calls. I don't know why I thought he would get 6 specifically, but I said he's going to get phone calls this season. And if Syracuse misses him, I think it's something that's, could haunt the team. They could regret it. So I was like, he doesn't belong anywhere else than home. And as of this morning, Jerry was officially announced as the new head coach at Syracuse. He's only the 3rd head coach in 51 years because Boeheim was 47, Adrian was 3, and now Jerry here in 2026-27. I think it ignites the fan base. I think it brings fans in that had left. I think it packs the stands. I think we get back to 19 or 20,000 people on a bad day. I think it keeps people that were maybe looking to transfer. I think it definitely keeps, Cayenne Anthony as part of this thing, which, Cayenne, I think, said he was already going to stay. But, I think it keeps a Cayenne. I think it excites people. I think it brings in donors. I think it brings in NIL money. I think that this is a great hire all the way around. And for me personally, it brings back somebody who didn't get a big head, didn't forget about me, and didn't stop appreciating. I just talked to Jerry after the game where Siena lost to Duke by 2 possessions. You know, I was talking to Jerry from the NCAA, and I thank the NCAA who has had me on site credentialed and credentialed me virtually. They've given me opportunities to do things all over the country, you know, either on foot or through video. And I can't thank the NCAA enough, and the wonderful team that has allowed me to do the work that I've gotten to do over the years, which I think has built the brand of my company and really just done things for me that I can't say thank you enough for. And so I got to talk to Jerry, and I started to ask him the question, and he was looking around for me. And then somebody must have told him I was on Zoom, and you saw him back up and smile. He goes, "Dan, you got to repeat your question, man." He is like, "I was looking for you, and I was afraid that I wasn't seeing you, that I didn't hear anything you said." And that just showed me that Jerry's Jerry. It was like, when he heard me talk, it was like, "Where's Dan? I got to catch eyes with him," right? I got to be like, "Hey man, thanks for being here." And he's just always been that way to me. He's always been humble. He hasn't forgotten his roots. He hasn't forgotten me. And I think that says a lot, because I've been around some coaches that I had really great relationships with that got big jobs and started feeling themselves. And I feel like they didn't really respect the people that had been with them on their journey and on their path. And to me, when you get to the top of the mountain, you better remember the people that helped you get up there, you know, and because if you start to fall down that mountain, those are the people that are going to catch you, not the people that like you because you're at the top of the mountain. Everybody likes the person at the top of the mountain, right? For the most part. But how many people are going to be there helping you while you sweat and you dig into the mountain and you feel like you can't do it anymore? You know, Jesus had Simon. How many other people came from the crowd and helped him carry the cross? Right? So there was a lot of people there to spit on him, yell at him, call him names, and cheer that he was being led to his death. But there was one that helped him carry it. So, you know, you don't forget those people, right? And I just feel like, and I'm not saying I'm Simon and that Jerry is Jesus. I'm just saying in the world that we live in, and really any world, there are few that will help, there are many people that will show up in the stands, but few people will help. And, you know, I value the people that don't forget the people along the way. And I kept saying that about Jerry. I said, man, I know some coaches, they got a job and they didn't return phone calls and they're totally different. And then here's Jerry joking around with me, showing me his cell phone and, you know, spending some time with me in the midst of doing interview, just coming over and like spending a couple seconds with me, just being like, "Hey, Dan, I see you," or "I appreciate you." And I never forgot that. I never forgot that Jerry's press conference at Siena, I felt valued and appreciated. And so now that he is here in Syracuse, I would imagine and expect and anticipate I'm going to feel the same way. And, you know, selfishly, I'm really happy because it's my hometown. So, Jerry, I've talked about it. I've said it. I've repeated it to people that liked it and to people that didn't. And I thought you were the right name. Not the right name right now, but the right name. So, I'm happy for you. I'm grateful that you're back home. And I can't wait to see what this program is going to look like with what I consider to be, and no offense to anybody else whatsoever, what I consider to be the right head coach for Syracuse basketball. And that's going to lead me right into the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's. Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road, ironically, where Ryan Blackwell and I did a bunch of shows together. And like I said, Jerry hired Ryan to be one of his assistant coaches when he went to Siena and be there with him for the past couple seasons. The ingredients to success brought to you by Avicolli's. That's open 7 days a week and our exclusive home for my live on-site once-a-month broadcast with Liverpool Athletics. Today's topic, positivity as an active ingredient. Not a passive ingredient, but an active ingredient. You got to have it. Positivity. I'm talking to you, Syracuse fan base. Positivity. I'm talking to you, person sitting at your desk. Positivity. I'm talking to you, person who's taking a lunch break. To the person who's running on the treadmill. To the person who's running errands right now. To the person who is updating their resume. Working on their taxes. Talking on the phone. Sending a text message. Driving in the car. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I'm talking to you. Positivity has to be an active ingredient in your life. If it's passive, if it's subtle, or it's non-existent, the sauce is never going to taste that good. Positivity is the ingredient that changes everything. If you have it, well, now we're talking. If you don't have it, well, then you might be in a place where no matter what you do, you can't get the recipe right. Positivity is the key to success. It's what my friend Brandon Smith said over and over and over again to me. Positivity is the key to success. If you are positive, good things will come. If you are negative, well, you'll turn things sour. He put in my head, negativity will breed negativity. If you think negatively, if you act negatively, if you pour into negativity, then things will not work out. But if you give to positivity, you believe in it, it may take time. It always takes time. But positivity is the key to success. You have to have a positive mind. You have to work in a good direction. You have to work for and not against yourself. Positivity is the key to success. I'll never forget him saying that to me. You know, if you stand in your own way, you will fail 100% of the time. But if you're positive, you will succeed. Maybe not how you planned, probably better, but you will succeed eventually. So I ask you today, is positivity an active ingredient in your life? You might prepare. You might have the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience, but are you positive? You know how many times I've talked about the athlete who lifts weights, runs, watches film, trains, gets enough rest, eats well, but they get on the field, the court, the pool of life, the track of life, and their mind is negative. You can't, you won't. And they talk to themselves that way. And guess what? They don't finish first in the relay in the pool. They don't cross the finish line first on the track. They don't hit the game-winning shot. They don't make the game-winning play. They don't intercept the ball that secures the victory. Because a negative mindset will erase anything positive that you could have brought. If you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter how prepared you are. If you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter how much sleep you got, what you ate, or how you got ready for something. If you are not working in your own favor, right? Your own, like, and what I mean by that is to not work against yourself. You're not going to make it. You have to be positive. Positivity as an active ingredient, that was the ingredient that was missing. And it has been missing at times in my life. And I could tell you this. When I am not positive and I work against myself, I never succeed. Not in the way I hoped. Not in the way I want. I haven't succeeded. So, I can tell you this and tell you this clearly. If your life is not going the way you want it to go, and it seems frustrating and difficult, the last thing you want to do is be negative. The last thing you want to do is stand against yourself. Being positive doesn't mean it's going to work out in that moment. Being positive means I am going to withstand the storm. You can't get to the sunlight without going through the storm sometimes. You know, we don't like when it rains. But if it didn't, the flowers wouldn't grow. We wouldn't have produce. We wouldn't have vegetables and fruits to buy in the store to stay healthy. We need rain in order to have health. We need to have the storm in order to grow. And I brought it up before, and I think about when I was a kid laying in bed, I was trying to sleep one night and I kept looking down at my legs and my legs were feeling weird. And I'm like looking down at my body and I'm like, am I growing? What's happening? Why do I feel so weird? I was having growing pains, I believe, at that time. My body was growing. It didn't feel good. But you cannot go through life and have growth without pain. Flowers need sunlight and rain. They need the good days and they need the trying times. But positivity is your choice. It's very easy for people. You see how people smile more in Syracuse when the sun's out? Oh my God, sun's out, 70, I feel great. And you hear everybody's talking about the weather. Oh my God, the weather. Oh my God, the weather. I can't wait to get out of work because of the weather. It's so great, I'm going to take a run because of the weather. Are you going outside today because of the weather? I'm going to open the pool today because of the weather. But how many people are that chipper when it's 31 degrees outside, it's raining, and it's cloudy? Positivity is not for the days of sunshine. Positivity is for every day. So is it an active ingredient in your life? When you face adversity, when you face the unknown, when things get difficult, how do you react? Because the true test of if you've grown as a person, in my opinion, the true test of if you're going in the right direction, in my opinion, is how positive you are and how positive you stay. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. But it's worth it. It is worth it. I can promise you that my negativity has ruined things for me. I can promise you that I have talked my way out of things because of negativity. Positivity, I don't know why we shy away from it. I don't know why we're afraid of it. Negativity is so easy. It's like a blanket. But it's a blanket filled with porcupine spikes. It's a blanket of snakes. It's a blanket of scorpions. That's what negativity is. We rush to it so easily as mankind. Why? Why do we run toward the thing that can hurt us, but we get scared of the thing that can help us? Well, because the devil's a liar. And in this world, people feed it. Can't feed the devil. Can't feed negativity. You have to be positive. Because the positive people, they're the most successful people. They just are. Because they're the ones that fought through all the things that other people gave up. You ever wonder, you got 300 people in a room want to be a broadcaster? 9 of them become a broadcaster. Why the other 291 not do it? Maybe some of them realized they didn't love it. Maybe some of them just didn't feel good at it. But the other ones, somebody told them they had a bad voice. Somebody told them they don't speak well. Somebody told them they don't like the way they looked. It got hard. It got difficult. They got scrutinized. They got made fun of on social media, and they quit. The negativity. They told themselves they couldn't do it. They believed in the negativity. You have to believe in the positivity. How do I know that this is going to... You just do it. Do you think that when I stepped up and said to God, I'm going to create my own business, and he said, okay, you think he snapped his fingers and gave me enough money and gave me everything I needed and taught me how to do everything? No. It was little by little. And there were some days where I'm like, I don't feel like I achieved anything for myself. But I kept going. I'm 22 plus years in. Man, I feel like I blinked and I could go right back to when I was thinking about starting my company. So how did I get here? I had to believe. I had to be positive. I've had my negative moments, plenty of them. I've had the moments where I've worked against myself, where I got down on myself, where I got frustrated, where I let people bother me, where I cried and I yelled and I sat there. But I've never given up. And if I can tell you anything about life, you may not get what you want sometimes, but you'll get what you need. You may not have what you want when you want it, how you want it. But I don't think God hands things to you. I think God hears you and then wants to see what you're willing to do. You think he wants to give you something if the ends justify the means, meaning you did a bunch of grimy stuff on the path to getting it? You think God wants to give it to you if you ask him for it, but you put in no work? You think God wants to give it to you if you're tearing down other people on the way? I know that positivity feels hard when you create the habit of negativity. But like any bad habit, you can correct it. So how do I get positive, Dan? Well, figure out what you have a passion for, what matters to you, who matters to you. Okay? Think about the positives in your life. The people, the places, the memories. Think about what matters to you. Okay? When you wake up in the morning, you should be positive. Because not everybody does wake up in the morning. You should be positive if you have someone to call. You should be positive if you have someone who tells you that they love you and they mean it. You should be positive if, your arms work, your legs work. If you're in a wheelchair, you should still be happy to be alive. If you can't get out of the wheelchair, you should still be happy that you have your wits about you, your personality, your memory. I tell people all the time, Jimmer Sikowski, in or out of a chair, same guy to me. He's never lost who he was. And that speaks to his character. He wasn't who he was because everything was going right. Because he's still that same person, even when things don't go right. Positivity is the only path to success. It's the only path to peace. Because if you're not positive, no matter how many good things happen, you'll be waiting for the shoe to drop. What's going to happen? What's bad? What's bad? What's bad? What's bad? We can't worry about losing. We can't worry about things being taken away. We can't worry about something going wrong. You got to think about if it can go right. What if you do get that job? What if she says yes? What if he says yes? What if today is the day where your kid smiles again, tells you that they love you? What if today is the day that the sun shines? What if today is the day that your flowers start to bloom? What if today is the day that you get that job? We need to start thinking what if in a positive way. We need to start thinking about our lives in a positive way. When something good happens to you, don't worry about losing it. Don't worry about it going away. Don't worry about it being one time. Don't worry about it being fleeting. I go months not riding Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. When I finally get to ride it, I don't want to be sitting on that ride going, oh man, I'm not going to be able to ride this tomorrow. I waited 3 months to ride it, and then I'm going to get on it and think about the 3 months that I'm not going to be able to ride it after. So I've never enjoyed it. So I wasted 3 months going, and I'm going to waste 3 months coming out, and I'm wasting right now. No. Enjoy the moment. Celebrate the moment. Live in... I couldn't talk to you about that great moment with Jerry McNamara at Siena if I wasn't enjoying it. If I wasn't thinking about everything that didn't go right that day, or I got to go on the throughway, or I got to do this, or I got to do that, or there was traffic, or I don't know where to park. You have to live in the moment. And positivity has to be a part of every day. Dan, it's hard today. Yeah. Those are the days where you have to do it the most. But positivity is not a sometimes I pick it up, I put it down. Positivity is an everyday thing. Well, Dan, I was positive and this person broke up with me. This person wouldn't date me. This person didn't give me a job. This person didn't listen to me. This person didn't answer my call. This didn't happen. That didn't happen. This didn't happen. That didn't. My flight still got delayed. I didn't get to work. Because that's what people will tell you. I stopped being positive when something didn't work out. I stopped being positive when my parent died. I stopped being positive when somebody in my family got cancer. I stopped being positive when my grandparent passed away when I was a little kid, and I thought they were going to be alive to see me go to college. I stopped being positive because I didn't get something I wanted. Well, positivity doesn't guarantee you're going to get what you want. Positivity gives you an opportunity to smile and to actually mean that smile when stuff goes well and when stuff doesn't go well. Days are not going to be perfect, but positivity is the blanket that's not filled with scorpions and snakes or porcupine spikes. Positivity is the blanket of, hey, no matter what happens today, I'm going to make sure I don't waste the day because I may not have tomorrow. Things may not work out. And things can change in an instant, right? Maybe Jerry wanted the job 2 years ago. He didn't get it. Could have been negative. Could have stuck his head in the sand. No, he went to another school. He could have ignored that school, gone through the motions because he didn't want to be there. And he wanted to be at Syracuse. And this, I'm not saying this, I'm just making an analogy. But he didn't. He won. And what just happened? Maybe Jerry wanted it 2 years ago. Maybe he wanted it 4 years ago. He got it now. Life can change in an instant. And I'll tell you something. Negative people, they're never going to be ready. Even when they get what they want, they're not going to be ready because they're negative. So when they finally get everything they want, they're going to be worried about, how do I lose it? How does this not work out? Negativity breeds negativity. Hate breeds hate. Positivity breeds positivity. Love breeds love. My grandmother told me a long time ago. I said, G, you watch the news and you read the newspaper. There is so much negativity in the world. How do you watch killings, shootings, rape, theft, fires, tsunamis, negative on the news, in the newspaper? How do you read it and watch it, hear it, and stay positive? And G-Mama looked at me and she goes, well, what's my alternative? Positivity should not be something that's contingent on what happens in your life. Positivity should be the thing you wake up with every day and you carry. And sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it's light. But you should never leave home without it. With that being said, we'll take our final step aside on today's broadcast, a wake-up call with Dan Tortora. Stay positive, my friends. It's an active ingredient in your life, and it's proudly presented by Avicolli's. Head to Avicolli's today on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, the home of our Liverpool broadcasts every single month with Liverpool Athletics. We look forward to seeing you out there. Stay close to our social media to find out the next time we will be out there. And we'll be back inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios right after this.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Find your way over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. You can go and look in their display cases and find cards that are right there waiting for you from the singles that they have of many sports: hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, as well as Disney, Lorcana, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, and so on and so forth while supplies last. They also have boxes and packs waiting to be opened by you. So if you want to try and see what you can find, then I would say to head over there today, get a few packs, get a box, open it up, and look for those awesome treats that only sports card collecting can give you. We look forward to seeing you over there today at 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. And I thank Josh, Anthony, and the team for being incredible as always when it comes to bringing out our little kid spirits all the time. A big-time shout-out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. You can't miss it. It's a giant brick building that is located right there with a double drive-thru on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. And we know that they are offering some new flavors to you, a little twist on what you know from Chick-fil-A. It's called Nostalgia, which Chick-fil-A rolled out with just a few days back here with the Jalapeno Ranch Club chicken sandwich, as well as the strawberry hibiscus beverages that are now there on the menu for Chick-fil-A. And they're at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Order on the app, go to the double drive-thru, or eat inside at Chick-fil-A DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street, Erie Boulevard. We'll see you there. With that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And we appreciate your support of our Central and Upstate New York partners: Great Lakes, Honda City, Mon Paz, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Pizza Man, Canine Camp, Dog Daycare, Brian's Landing, Avicolli's, Chick-fil-A and Cicero, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Myers Creek, Mother's Cupboard, as well as Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Game Point Sports Complex, Willow Rock Brewing Company, and the Willow Rock Pizza Pub. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton University Bearcats. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, you will find your Bearcats every Tuesday like today during Bearcat Time, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show. You can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com, and as always, go Bearcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I thank you for being a part of the show. As always, I appreciate you tremendously and cannot say enough about what it means to me to have you here on the show. So I hope you have a wonderful and fantastic day. I hope you stay safe, and I hope that all good things come your way. Remember that positivity is an active ingredient in your life that has to be a part of every single recipe that you have, because if you don't, the recipe will always be missing something. It's kind of like trying to make bread, but not doing the thing to make the bread rise. You know what I mean? It's like putting everything in, but then the bread not rising and just staying doughy as like slop in a pan. That's what life is if you don't bring in positivity with all the other ingredients. So make sure that you do that today. And I appreciate y'all, and I'm praying for you all as always. Have a beautiful day. God bless. No stress. Do your best. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, this is Wake Up Call. You are amazing. And welcome home, Jerry.